Welcome back to the Top 6 show, sponsored today by NordVPN. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in our description below now to sign up to an amazing deal to make sure you have yourself protected at all times when using the internet. We'll talk about them a little bit more, but it's going to be an action-packed show. Of course, we're going to digest the massive game yesterday between Arsenal and City. We are looking at Liverpool failing to win in 2 games as well. We're looking at Man United and Chelsea. Both had big comebacks at the weekend. Chelsea now in a little bit of form. Man United, some say getting a bit lucky, but can they turn things around after the international break? We've got all that and much, much more to come. Any questions you've got, any topics you want us to cover, send your comments in. Member chats and super chats will always get the priority, as you all know, as you really do support the Football Terrace moving forward. We've got a brilliant panel tonight. In order of the league table, by the way, Mo's at the end because he doesn't support a Premier League club. We've got a man like Chatty Patty. We've got Rory. Lewis is back with us. Little Tom is here. Staffy's back in the house. And, of course, man like Mo Gender is here with us for the next hour and 30 minutes or so. Of course, hit like buttons if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe and turn on bell notifications. But how is everybody after that epic weekend of football?
Very good.
Title race. Yes.
I mean,
How are you, Lou?
Title races, I might as well leave them because I shouldn't be here.
Well,
should I leave the room?
no, it's all good, man. It's all good, Terry. You know what I mean? It's 8 games in, isn't it? So, listen, last week, Rory said City ruined football. So we just thought we'd balance it out a little bit, give him a dub and make it interesting, as Mo just said. So, thank us, innit?
I like it.
You give us something. You give the world something to look forward to. You know,
That's
like,
us, Mo.
you know,
That's us, Manchester City. Always thinking about the rest
it's
of
the
the
big
league.
heart of the Manx. You know what I mean? You just big hearts, giving the people something to cheer about.
And we'll be coming back onto that game a little later. But I did want to start today with the team top of the league. I wanted to start with Chatty Patty's Tottenham team, unbeaten in the Premier League, that is. Top of the league. Came through a little bit of adversity at the weekend against Luton when he went down to 10 men. And you'll spend the next 2 weeks top of that league table. Talk to us. How excited are you and the Tottenham fans getting about this progression?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wanted us to go under the radar and just, go about our business quietly. The results and the performances are meaning that there is a bit of a spotlight on us now. And so obviously, people are talking, they're throwing us title challenges and all of that stuff at us. We're not that. I said it last week, I'll say it again. But of course, I'm going to enjoy this moment and we're going to enjoy racking up as many points as we can. Obviously, we can only beat what's in front of us. I'm seeing people like Gal try and discredit what we've done. Certain Arsenal fans are trying to throw some discourse our way. At the end of the day, we can only beat the teams that are in front of us. Also, as well, remember that we've played 5 away games so far. Yes, the teams that we played away aren't the greatest, but you still got to beat them, you still got to put them away. And of course, like you said, when Bissouma, that game was a bit crazy. We should have been 3 or 4-0 up in the first 15 minutes. Obviously, as you guys, I was in the TFT chat WhatsApp group and just saying Richarlison was killing me. He missed 2 sitters in the first 5 minutes. And I was like, this might come back to haunt us. Obviously, when Bissouma got sent, the thing is, when Bissouma got sent off, he was actually through on goal. He should have just kept going. No one touched him. Everyone was scared to touch him because obviously you don't want to bring someone down so close to the box or in the box. He could have actually got a shot off. He dived, he went down. In real time, I thought he genuinely got fouled. So I was like, cool, we'll get a free kick. And then they was like, he's gone down, he's dived. And then, the referee gave him a second yellow, rightfully so. You can't disagree with that. We were down to 10 and I was like, you know what? This is where the banana skin comes in. 12:30 kickoffs, I hate them as it is. The chance to go first, playing for top of the league, playing first. I was like, all of these Spursy things are going to come back to haunt us. But luckily, we saw the game out. A resilient second half. The first half, there was only one team in it. We had 81% possession in the first half. I think they had 19 passes at one point compared to our 300. It was crazy. But yeah, we saw the game out. Mickey van der Ven and Romero are a quality, solid centre-back pairing. And we just got the job done, man. So yeah, all in all, really good performance. I don't know what else I can say really.
Talk about James Maddison. Give me the James Maddison props.
Again. Yeah, exactly. Another one that sometimes some people in here or on here will try to say that he's not as good as what Mo and I and even Don, shout out to Don as well, have said he is. Every week, the guy's putting in a performance. And obviously, he created that goal out of nothing. The moment of magic and a quality finish by Mickey van der Ven. And yeah, got us the win. Mickey van der Ven, what a player though as well. Another guy that kind of no one really was talking about when he first came to us. Week in and week out, you're seeing this guy get better and better in a Spurs shirt. And I know people may say it's only Luton, but at the end of the day, you've got to beat what's in front of you. And second half, they should have scored. Let's be real. I think in the first minute of the second half, I don't know how that guy sat on the ball instead of scoring. That was insane. But yeah, other than that, it was a comfortable. Well, no, it wasn't comfortable. All in all, it was a good win. Second half was a bit shaky, but yeah, like I said, we got the job done, man. I can't really complain, and we keep it moving.
Listen, Patrick, even if you got won 3-4-0, people would have said it's just Luton. And then when you don't beat them 3-4-0, they would say you struggle against Luton. And now that you mentioned Igal earlier, I don't know if you heard my response to when Igal said that. I told Igal, you're just jealous. And it's just plain and simple. Listen, as an Arsenal fan, I don't expect you to like Spurs. Like if Rory sat here and gave you guys too much props, I'll be like, you know what, Rory, something sus here. You're an Arsenal fan. You're not supposed to be talking about that. You know, it can be a little bit shameless if you're a rival. However, I'm seeing not just Igal, Hossam as well. You know, they're saying there's an imposter between us, you know, and he just puts the league table saying you guys are in first place. You shouldn't be there. Listen, bro, there's no imposter. The results are reflecting what you guys have become as a team. You've won some comfortable games and you've won some hard games. Yes, let's ignore the Liverpool game because I know that one was a special case where there was a lot of bad officiating, so you can argue that one. But when you put that one away and you talk about everything else, you guys have been a decent team. You've been a decent team. You have a good manager. You've been playing good football, and you can only beat who's in front of you. I'm seeing people saying you played Burnley, Sheffield, Luton. That's fine. I mean, you don't pick your schedule. You got to play these teams eventually, anyways, and you've done well so far. So you've deserved the spot you're in. Anyone else was saying otherwise, they're either just hating or they're jealous. I think Igal was jealous because his process took a lot longer. You know, he had to finish 8th 2 years in a row while he's looking at you guys, and you guys are already in first place. Are you going to win the league now? That's not what I'm saying. But your process is looking a little bit much smoother and easier than the one they had to go through.
7 minutes in, Igal is mentioned 3 times by 2 panelists. Igal is not even on the panel. Igal is not even here, people.
Yeah, he's been tweeting all weekend about
big up Igal, but I mean, you talk a lot and you got to get mentioned.
Yeah. Like, seriously, he's in your head. He's not even on the panel.
No, he's not.
3 times.
Relax. He's been tweeting a lot about Tottenham, and so obviously I'm going to mention it because, like, I don't see Rory doing all of that shit, but Igal does it. So obviously, yeah, he's someone that I'm going to mention. Like I said, we can only beat what's in front of us, and it's funny that Igal's like, "Oh, you've beaten 3 out of the bottom 4 or whatever it is," but we've also played Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. So it's not like we've had some easy fixture list. We've had some tough games in there as well. Brentford away is a tough game. That was our first away game.
It's like 7 points in these games.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say about this game at the weekend. I just want to say there is a video that's gone a little bit viral today that's been triggering not just Spurs fans, not just Luton fans. I've even seen Liverpool fans get involved in this as well. Let's take a quick look at this video. I want to get a reaction.
Luton Town 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Tottenham go top of the table, and fair play to them. They will stay there as long as Arsenal can get something out of the City game tomorrow. Luton Town need to be relegated. I've never witnessed a team as bad as them in the Premier League. And I know they picked up a win last week, whoop-de-doo. They were abysmal. Once Tottenham were down to 10 men, you wouldn't have noticed. Tottenham continued to have more possession. Luton missed 2 or 3 absolute sitters. I genuinely don't know how their fans can watch this week in, week out, because that's the only time I've cared about a Luton game, and I found it insufferable. How bad Luton Town were. Credit to Tottenham. You do have to give credit to them. Bit of adversity, going down to 10 men, but they came through it. Mickey van der Ven got the goal, and to be fair, was my man of the match. I thought he was very, very good today. James Maddison again, absolutely fantastic, and it was a test for them to.
That's our Rory.
Great video.
Yeah, I was saying that Igal.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was saying that, it was only a gal talking shit, but obviously I just seen that from Rory as well. But now, to be fair to Rory, that is a fair analysis of the game. Luton are rubbish. We are lucky that it was Luton. That
I want to ask a question though, like, because this is what people are alluding to. I've seen the kind of accounts quote tweeting it and sharing it. it's almost like some people are suggesting, Rory, it was an underhand shot at Tottenham by having a go at Luton. Is that what you were doing, or are you just being genuine that a team like this shouldn't be in the Prem?
No, I was frustrated that Luton hadn't capitalised on that game. Like, I was just frustrated that Spurs hadn't dropped points. It was disrespectful to Luton, which I apologise to Luton fans for. And to be fair, at the end of the video, I credited Tottenham, but I do genuinely think if you're playing against Spurs, it was the fact that they were playing against 10 men and they were still like not the better team. Like, Spurs still had more possession, were still passing it around. I just thought that's too easy. In the Premier League, there should be no team that when you're down to 10 men, you can still kind of dominate the game. But it's gone down badly. So we'll take it.
Man City, they have opposition, they have 10 men, and they dominate position.
They do.
That's the sign of
why
a good
not
team.
Spurs?
Yeah, that what. And I said
the worst part of the Luton game was the chances they missed, though. Like,
yeah.
If you're not going to be the better side, you've got to take your chances. And I watched Adebayo, who apparently is a good championship striker, sit on the ball when he could have tapped it home. I was watching their left back, Doherty, get a... It's not simple because it's a volley, but he had Carlton Morris to the left of him, who he could have passed to, who's, their top scorer this season, and he's tried to volley it like he's prime RVP and dragged it wide. And then you're watching... I'll preface it, they're not the worst team in Premier League history. They won't be. Derby will forever be worse. But when I'm watching them bring on Ross Barkley to try and save the day, I'm sitting there going, it's not going to be a fun season for you. It's not going to be a fun season when I'm watching Corley. I was watching it on TNT and Corley Woodrow comes on and they go, this man hasn't scored a goal for 9 years. I'm sitting there going, what's the point of bringing him on then? You're chasing the game. You brought on a striker who hasn't scored a Prem goal for 9 years. Is he going to break the hoodoo today? No, obviously not. He didn't have a shot.
I think you'd be a bit harsh, man. You got to remember, this is Luton Town you're talking about here. You know what I mean? Like, no one expected these guys to be in the Premier League. They spent next to no money in the summer. They're working on a shoestring budget. I mean, I don't think any Luton fans expected them to stay up, to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing better than Sheffield United, you know what I mean? And I don't think anyone would have expected that.
To be fair, Bournemouth still haven't got a win.
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, yes, everyone expects them to go down, man. But, I didn't watch the game, but it was only 1-0. So it couldn't have been that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, that goal as well, actually.
Spurs with 11 men, it could have been 3 or 4 in the first 10
It
years.
should have been. Spurs were very wasteful in the opening part of the game. It should have been a bigger margin. In terms of Spurs, though, like there are things being labelled at them that, again, when people have watched their games, there's been quite a few games they've won, but they may not necessarily, rode their luck a little bit. Teams missing big chances, last-minute goals. Is that luck, or because it's happened now 3 or 4 times over the course of the season, is it more, well, that's what a quality team is made of? Is Spurs moving into that category of these late wins or these narrow wins are no longer luck?
It can be both. I think it can be a little bit of both there, Terry. Like, obviously you need a little bit of luck. Arsenal yesterday with the deflection. But you also need to be a good team, right? You're not top of the table after 8 games. I know we're only 8 games in, but you're not top of the table after 8 games if you're not a decent side, right? And they have played some good teams. You know what I mean? Who have you played? Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United.
Liverpool, Man United, yeah.
Played some decent teams in there and the top of the table. So listen, I don't think that they're going to win the league. And at some point, I do think that they'll start to struggle. And injuries, what is it? Son is going away in it for a few games as well in January, I think. So, I think by the end of the season, they won't be up in the title race, but certainly in the top 4 right now, which, let's be honest, probably exceeded most people's expectations at the start of the season. You just lost one of the best strikers this country has ever seen. You've got a manager that, let's be honest, a lot of people didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people do watch Scottish football, but a lot of people south of the border probably never heard of this guy. A lot of disrespect was branded at him. And the top of the table. So listen, I think Postecoglou was asked about it at a press conference, wasn't he? And he said, just let the Tottenham fans be happy, man. They've been very miserable. Aren't you, bro? You've been very miserable for a few years now. Look at that smile on his face. Look at it. He's buzzing. Oh man, let's not shoot this guy down.
I do think. Sorry, I was going to say I do actually think Spurs are there on merit, as much as it pains me to say it. And I say top on merit. They are. We're tied. We are tied. Like, I know they're there because they've scored more goals, but it's a tie. And I think Arsenal and Spurs both deserve to be there, and both have ridden their luck in a couple of games. But like you said, you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. You've beaten them. And in games where you might expect Spurs to do something Spursy, they haven't done that so far this season. So, yeah, injuries and stuff might factor in later in the season. But for now, you can't really take anything away from them.
Spurs are like Liverpool. They concede a lot of chances and they didn't get scored on. People credit Allison. I'm going to say it's Vicario, it is Van de Ven, it's Romero at the moment. You concede the chances, but the other teams don't score. It's not only that the other team might be bad.
Props from you, Mo? Is that what you just did?
It's the defense. They are doing better than expected. They conceded less than XG conceded. So, yeah, I'm just going to credit the defense as a unit, which is the same as Liverpool. Allison has been doing wonderful. Vicario is the same, even though he doesn't look good in the eye, but he's doing great. Props to them. You might concede the chance.
What? Excuse me.
He's not great in the eye, bro.
He does look good on the eye.
He's awkward.
He does.
Other
than the Man United home game and Brentford away, he's been solid and he's looked solid. So I don't know where you're going.
That's 2 out of 8. That's 25%.
Yeah, but that's the first 2 games. Of course, he's going to be a bit shaky.
Mathematician is coming in. He's new, Patrick. He's not Allison. He's brand new goalkeeper in the Premier League. He played in a relegation side in Italy, so I get it. He's good. He's good in everything. He might be great later. But yeah, like, listen, I'm trying to credit you, Patrick, and you're coming for me.
No, you're not. You're doing the underhanded digs. It's underhanded.
He's giving you a backhanded compliment. He's saying, Patrick, I'm giving you a compliment.
Just to be fair, I think Vicario is better on the eye than some of the other keepers in this league. I think he's one of the better ones on the eye. I don't know if his passing is like exceptional, but in terms of the fundamentals of a goalkeeper, he's got all them, which, as you're seeing with each passing week in the state of some other goalkeepers, having the fundamentals down is the most important thing.
I'd take him I'll swap him right now for Onana with those performances that we've had from him in terms of some of those biscuit wrist moments from him. Like, honestly, Onana's got hands like a pompadour, 110%. That ball just flies through it. It's crazy. There is no, remember that meme of that, like, I think it is a knick-knack or some kind of chip, or some kind of crisp that's holding a door shut. that's the bones in the arms of Onana at the minute. Man made of biscuits. But I think Spurs have started well. I think you deserve to be where you are. You have shocked a lot of people with being in a position nobody thought this early. Look, there'll be many more trials and tribulations ahead. But if I was a Spurs fan right now, I'd be keeping my feet on the ground. I wouldn't be gassing it too much to apply extra pressure, but I'll be damn enjoying it. I don't like the celebration police out there every week now telling teams they can't celebrate wins and where they are in the league at this stage. It's crazy. Viewers, do us a big favor and smash the like button, please. We're going to come to some super chats a little bit later. I did want to ask a question, though, on this show. I'm going to go to young Thomas on this first. Were Liverpool robbed again this weekend?
I don't. In terms of robbed, in terms of should they have been sent off? Yes, Pascal Gross should have been sent off for the penalty. But were we robbed in terms of, the performance? No, I think a draw is a fair result. But that, I don't get how you can't give that as a red card. How that isn't denial of a goal scoring opportunity. The reasoning of he's not got the ball under control. He's running away from goal. He's running away from goal to open up his body to kick it into the open net. The defender's on his way back. Lewis Dunk is outside the 6-yard box. He's not covering on the line. No way Lewis Dunk gets back to block that. I don't get how they didn't give that as a red card.
I think it's a very awkward one, that, Tom. I think it's an awkward one. Like, I see why people are saying it's a red, and I don't necessarily disagree. I just think it's a very awkward one. Did he go to the monitor, by the way?
No.
That's probably the problem then for me. It's like he should have been sent to the monitor and had a proper off like that. I think the referee making that decision. That's bizarre. That's bizarre. I think in real time, I understand why the ref wouldn't have given a red card, but I think that's probably one where VAR should probably say it's a bit weird. Like, he's pulled him down, he's not gone for the ball, and the guy's about to shoot. You might want to go and have a look at the monitor and make a decision. And obviously, that didn't happen, which is weird.
It comes down to me. No transparency again. And maybe because Liverpool fans, they didn't lose and there was some poor defending from them in the game, they're focusing more on that. It's a bit like that. Well, we'll probably come to it later. It's like Arsenal fans today should be still, even though they won, talking about the Kovacic red card. Because if we don't make noise about these things as fans, the referees, VAR, PG, MOL, they get away with it. And this is one for me where, again, I look at it and think to myself, we see a comment here that says it can't be given as a red because of it's in the box, last man.
That's only if they make an attempt to play the ball.
Yeah, so if they essentially go for a tackle the ball in the box and take them down, and they deny a clear goal scoring opportunity, it can't be a red. But he pulled his shirt. Equally, I want to say this to fans again: the last man narrative is never ever once been a rule in football. There's never been a law about last man. It's never existed. To say this isn't denying a clear goal scoring opportunity is crazy. And Mo, you were saying backstage that somebody earlier said to you that the reason the goal wasn't given is because there was 2 men on the line.
Because they think like Dunk is gonna block it on the line. This is what they said. Actually, this is the explanation. Anyway, looking at it again, you showed me the pictures. I think it's crazy, even though I can understand why they didn't give it as a red, because they think the goalkeeper is gonna block it. It's just what I'm gonna echo what LB said. Why didn't he go to the monitor and make a decision for himself? Why we're sitting here talking about it in this? It was a great game. It's ridiculous that he didn't go to the monitor. Just take a look, convince yourself. Why didn't you go in like lesser offenses than this? Just go, take him to the monitor, take it 5 seconds, look at it, and then come back. In real time, I thought it was a red card. I thought it's crazy that he didn't give him a red card, and I thought that again another day. It's another day we're talking about the referee, because that game was brilliant. Actually, it's amazing. It was amazing. We're talking about the referee again.
My instant reaction was red card, and the thing I don't get about the clear goal scoring opportunity, like he's literally about to pull the trigger and take a shot. The keeper's out of position one side and Dunk's kind of covering, but it's like, is that less of a goal scoring opportunity than, for example, Isaac being 1-on-1 with Alisson when Van Dijk got sent off? And I don't know that, like, Isaac wouldn't definitely have scored that chance. So there's a difficulty with the phrase of like goal scoring opportunity. And I think that causes
I just
a
don't
lot
get
of
how
issues.
they try and pass this one off.
I don't think there is. So sorry, Tom. I don't think there is. I mean, it's for me. I agree with you 100%. But for me, it's clear goal scoring opportunity. And how is shooting a semi-open goal, not from 8 yards out, sorry, about 12 yards out, not a clear goal scoring opportunity? It's, as you say, people keep saying, well, the defender's covering on the line. Well, the defender's got less chance of stopping it than a goalie in that situation. And if it was just a goalkeeper and you bring him down by pulling him his shirt, it's a straight red. You know, it's very strange how they've missed that one. And it's 2 weeks running that Liverpool have maybe failed to win. Yes, there's things to look at in their own performance, and I get that. But we all know that penalty happens, they score it, and the red card's given. Did Brighton really come back? I don't know. I don't think so.
They're a good team,
it's just annoying.
You know, yeah, but Brighton are a good team though, and they do control a lot of possession and dictate games. So you never know. They could have come back. Also, as well, if you look at it, I don't know. The keeper kind of looks close to the ball. It's not guaranteed that he's going to score that chance. He more than likely
to be able to score it though. He just needs to be 1-on-1. That's what he is.
Is it a close? Is it a clear goal scoring opportunity? Yes,
it should be classified as that. And the rules say, if you remember, Terry, I sent you the law changes earlier in the summer for the IFAB, and it was saying that whether it's a pull or a shove or anything in the box in those terms, that is on a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, that's directly a red. Like that. Well, that's what the rule says. So if we're going by the letter of the law, I don't care if like you think that player was good enough or in a better position to actually score it or not. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He did pull him according to the rules. If you pulled the player down and he was 1-on-1 with the keeper, which is a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, that is a red. But the bigger issue is like, I'm not even concerned about, would Brighton come back or not, all that stuff. My bigger issue is the inconsistency once again with the referees. Because I'll tell you something, in 2 weeks when the league is back, there will be something similar and someone's going to get a red card. And Tom might sit here and be like, well, how come I didn't get a red card in that game against Brighton? Because maybe I could have picked up all 3 points.
I mean, there was a red card in the United one when you played Forest, was it? Someone pulled someone's shirt back. And that was a red card. And that one, I don't even think he was in that position. Like, I don't get how they're not going to give that. I'm not saying that is the reason we didn't win. We didn't win because we severely lack a defensive midfielder, and that compounds everything. But in moments like that, Pascal Gross was the distributor. He was the player who was dropping in between the centre-backs, picking the ball up and bringing it forwards. He was one of their better players on the day. If he's sent off, they have to completely change the game plan. I just don't get how they're going to try and pass this one off. I don't get.
What?
And
I actually
you know,
just
it's
read
on
the
to a
law.
bigger issue this weekend. This weekend, all the rest were crap. Let's put it plain and simple. Our game, massive error. The Arsenal Man City game, massive error. The Newcastle West Ham game, massive error. I don't think Bruno Guimaraes should have been on the pitch. That's 3 games this
Wolves
weekend on one day. I don't even know if those were in Wolves Villa. I weren't watching. They might well have been. But 3 games in one day where there's been a major referee mistake after a week where you would have thought they'd be on the best condition, best shape, best sort of thing to make sure it doesn't happen again after the embarrassment of last week, and they've done not 1, not 2. They've got a hat trick of them. When is it going to change? When is it going to change? Because this cannot stay in the league.
Guys, I know the reason now because someone in the chat sent the law and I just reading it. It's a denying a goal, an obvious goal scoring opportunity to an opponent who's over. This is the key word. His overall movement is towards the offender's goal. So they're wording it like this. They are wording it in the book, in the IFAB law, like the movement has to be towards the offender's goal.
That's
that's how they interpret. It's wrong. I know we played the game, and I know it's wrong.
Let me just interject. Like, I get what you're saying, but that is that's semantics, because he has to turn his body away from goal to be able to get the shot on. And the point is this: I've seen people in the comments say, "Yeah, but you might have missed that." Again, that's an irrelevant point. Doesn't make any difference. If there's no pull on his shirt and he's about to shoot, imagine it's your team, Patrick. I guarantee you, if he's about to shoot from there in that exact position, what you shout is yes, because you know you're going to score. You 9 times out of 10 from that position, if someone's about to shoot with that level of an open goal, you're almost already celebrating. And if they miss, it's one of those moments where the crowd goes mental at your player. That's how good an opportunity that is to score, that you would almost go goal before it's even gone in, because it's that clear a chance. The notion that his body isn't facing the net is poppycock. It's absolute poppycock.
Yeah, but that's why they have to. It's the same as the handball, guys. We're saying the law is written. Why did someone put that word inside? They could have said just a goal scoring opportunity, and it's gonna be a subjective to the referee. They put that word. They made a mistake. It should have changed, because I agree with you. If he didn't pull him, that's 99% a goal.
So again, this is why I know it's nonsense. And people say, Terry, you've read the law. So say you're running at the final defender. You have to change your body shape to get round him. So as you change your body shape to go round him, he then drags your shirt down to the ground, but you're going to run clean through on goal. Are we saying no longer that that's not you, Mo? Are we saying that's no longer a red card because at the moment he grabbed his shirt, he was actually facing towards the corner flag as he was evading a man? Again, it's semantics, it's bollocks, it's bullshit.
So if a winger cuts in, and now his body's facing this way because he's about to take a shot, like you know how Rashford always does it. If you get pulled down, it's over.
I don't know why you're arguing. It's right. You guys are right, which is the same as the handball, that the ball hits your hand when it's a natural position, but you're jumping. It's how the law is written, and that's why they need to change it.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm arguing with the viewers who are saying no, that's why it's the law's right. Don't argue with it. And I'm arguing
wrong. The law is wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think the law's right. It's again, this is my issue with fans not standing up for each other. What they do when they make mistakes is they go, right, how can we get out of this by twisting what the interpretation of the law? It's exactly how the FCA work in the financial world. Very vague laws and rules, so they can twist it and spin it whenever they want to get some money out of banks. It's what they used to do all the time, and it's what we're seeing here to protect people, and it's wrong. There's a comment here, though, that I want to go to that says, Terry, this is why Merson went nuts on... Listen, Merson going off on whatever his name was it Mike Dean, or whoever it was
Mike Dean.
Absolutely beautiful, because he got it absolutely spot on in that rant. Mike, it's the law. We can't just stop the game. Yes, you can. It isn't the real law. Someone isn't going to die. You know, it's not you're going to let a heinous criminal off with a crime because you haven't followed the process. Football fans would have thought so much more of the officials if they sometimes broke the protocols to make sure the right decision happened. That's all we want. We don't care about the laws being followed as long as the right decision is made. Yeah, again, just defending and protecting each other. For again, I know they've got like a referees union, but it stinks. Stinks like morning breath, bruv. It's mad. This year says Spurs 2022-23 Spurs first 10 games, 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. After first loss to Arsenal, the train got derailed. 2023-24, a similar early hype. What is your realistic target, Patrick?
I hate when people do this because the way we were playing last year compared to this year is totally different. Last year, all you heard is people say it's not sustainable, this is going to happen, that, and it wasn't. The football was totally negative. We were on the back foot against a lot of teams, lesser teams as well. This year, we're obviously first in terms of shots, chances created, shots on target, shots on goal, lots of metrics you can see. And even just watching the games, you can see that it's a totally different team, totally different style of play. So comparing us to the Conte team of last year, it's not really, in my opinion, the right thing to do. But in terms of a realistic target, if you watch me on any shows that I'm on, especially this one, top 4 is the realistic target. As you guys have all said, and as I've said many a time, I think the depth over the course of the season isn't there. Our first 11 is really good. Obviously, injuries coming in may play a part. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it at the moment. You know, every time we play a good team, then we'll see how we do. So far, every good team we played, we've obviously passed the tests, dare I say it. Liverpool, we did get lucky with the whole officiating thing, as you know, but obviously that was nothing on Tottenham. But yeah, top 4 and a good run in the FA Cup now. That's my target.
And I want to add something to it. Like the next 5 games, Spurs already played 3 top teams, right? The next 5 games, they're all winnable games. The only tough one is Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
5 games, winnable games. If if Spurs get 12 out of these 15 points, that's a record points for Spurs. They'll be as good as I think Arsenal did last year, if they do that. And now we have to have serious conversation. Is that sustainable if they keep everybody fit? Which is what I'm assuming that they're going to keep everybody fit. They're one competition only. They can keep them fit. So if 5 games, they're winnable based on what I saw from the Spurs team. And they might be really, after half the season, they might be in a title race.
Yeah,
People don't want to believe it. People don't want to believe it, but the signs are there. This is a different Spurs than last year.
They could be, but Spurs fans, just listen, there's no point talking about it now for a Spurs fan. What often, I know we live in the banter era, the online era of football, but as fans, you can help control it by keeping your powder dry sometimes. You know, when we have fans before we went to play Liverpool at Anfield last season talking about smashing them up 3 or 4-0, it's just don't even put yourself in a position where they can come back to haunt you. Like, keep your powder dry. That's the best thing to do. And that's what Spurs fans should do right now. No, don't apply any extra pressure to your team until you need to. I just don't see any mileage in it. I just don't. Other than we want to get praised more. But again, for a pat on the head now, keep the pressure off your team. IFL here says, Tom, where was your energy when Trent Alexander-Arnold fouled with his arm on Anthony Gordon after he got beat? Should he have been sent off? Keep the same energy.
No. Why would he get sent off for that when that doesn't get a yellow card most of the time?
His second yellow.
Exactly. So a second yellow is even harder to get. Whether we agree with it or not, that by logic, second yellows are harder to get because referees are told to try and keep 11 on the pitch. Is it a stupid tackle? Yes, 100% it is. But it's not by definition a second yellow card because that happens plenty of times in a game. Sometimes it gets given for out-strengthening him. Sometimes it gets given for other things. And even then, if I wanted to really nitpick, the first yellow card's a fucking shit one anyway because he gets fouled for the same thing that Gordon does the exact same thing that Trent does. Gordon gets no foul, and now we're supposed to get a second yellow.
Yeah. The second one was definitely a yellow card, but the first one probably shouldn't have been a yellow card in the first place.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off as well. Yes, I mean, how he wasn't is. I mean, he's terrible. Absolutely. This here says De Zerbi in his press conference admitted that the foul leading to the free kick, to the goal from the free kick, their second goal, wasn't even a foul. Check his press conference. Fair enough. I'll take a look at that. I don't really watch Brighton press conferences, to be fair. Pat, your reasoning was good. Ignore Igal's nonsense is what V33 has got to say here. Igal just wants you.
Igal again.
It's not even the panelists. The Superchats are mentioning Igal.
Yeah, it's fine. It's meant to happen. We're one big family. We speak about each other. It's the way that it works. And as I always say, you, the viewers, keep the super chats coming. You are the most important part of the terrace. No disrespect to my panel, but you matter more than anyone. The Premier League should have a top 4 relegation, and well, we bottom 4, wouldn't it? But yeah, maybe one more relegated. It'd be good. The Championship would like the idea of having 4 come up instead of 3. Giroud only has 1 less clean sheet than Onana this season. Good bit of banter there. Good bit of banter there, and Tom. I want to move on to Chelsea. This super chat says Chelsea are coming for your spot, Patrick. Do you want some sauce to eat with your words? On Chelsea, it's another win. They were emphatic in front of goal. They started scoring. A lot of their supporters feel like they have turned that corner now. What are you saying, Rory? Chelsea, are they on the road to serious recovery with 2 back-to-back Premier League wins?
No, I mean, well, they're on a road, but whether it's actually leading to recovery, I don't know. It's Burnley away. I mean, Spurs did the same, right? Burnley go 1-0 up, and then Burnley of old would have shut up shop and probably seen it out, and they conceded 4 goals. Yes, Chelsea look a bit better. Yes, their confidence will probably be a bit better, but then they're going into a game against Arsenal after the international break, and then it's just their fixture list is absolute hell for the next 2 months, and at the end of that they could end up right back where they are because there are very few fixtures on that list that you think they probably get points out of. So I don't think that it's enough to say that they've turned a corner yet. I think they've got a couple of results that you'd absolutely expect them to get, and that's about it.
You thought Chelsea would score 4 goals in one game?
No, I didn't. I didn't think they'd score 4 in one game, but I don't. That hasn't.
He said the result, not the score. So to be fair, I mean, it's not a.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Is that Chelsea scoring goals to translate that ball position and the chances they create every game. This is the next step. So I'm gonna give them props and say I said that in the show last week. If it clicks, it will look all right. They looked absolutely good against Burnley. They didn't look bad at all. Burnley have ball to position and everything, but Chelsea were clinical. Jackson was composed in front of the goal. Cole Palmer looks all right. Raheem Sterling has his game every 3 games, and it was this game. So I think Chelsea looks all right. I think Chelsea, I said they look better than Manchester United. They did look better than Manchester United, and it's all about translating the chances. And yes, it's a competition between them because that's 11th and 12th, 10th and 11th. 10th. So you're 10th and they're 11th. So it's a competition between you and them. But I think Chelsea might have turned the corner. Yes, the fixture list is tough. I think the Arsenal game and the Bridge, I think this is the game they want after the international break. People will disagree and say, no, you should play easier teams. This is a real test. If they can hold Arsenal and have a good game, I think this is going to get their confidence even better. So
yeah, but if they get pumped, then it's straight back to okay, we beat. Who don't?
They don't. They don't believe.
Well, yeah, but
what do you believe?
I don't believe they're gonna. I don't believe they're gonna get pumped against Arsenal. I think they're gonna.
I don't think they will either. I think this is a perfect game. I think this is a perfect run for Chelsea. I think this is what they need. I mean, playing lower league opposition, a lot of money being spent there, pressure mounting. I think this is exactly what they need. They need a period of every single player fighting in training. You know what I mean? To maximise their potential for a Saturday kickoff and go out there. They got 1 game a week, you know, and go and cook. You know what I mean? I think this is a great period now for Chelsea. You know what I mean? There's still relatively little expectation on them because no one expects them to compete for the title. But yeah, I don't think they'll get pumped off Arsenal either.
I think they had all right. It was all right against Burnley, but like I don't really think Burnley is the measuring stick to use because they have all the game sense of. I don't even know. They have none. That's the big point. They have none. I don't get why they're acting like it's the Championship all over again, and they're not up against Chelsea. They're up against a Rotherham or something, a team that's not going to do anything. Like, at what point are they going to adapt to their thing?
Who's opening sellotape? Who's in a room with sellotaping or something?
Do you guys not hear that?
Yeah, I just muted myself, so it's not me.
My mic is on mute, and I'm mute.
It's Rory. Rory muting and it stops. I don't know what that was. He's gone.
I just think that Burnley they play nice football, but there has to come a point where you go, okay, we've done the nice football now. Now we need to go set up a separate way, play not nice football, but defensively solid football because they got cut open time and time. You would think they were losing. You wouldn't think they were 1-0 up the way they were getting cut through. Like, you'd think they were 1-0 down, chasing the game, and then that's just what's happened. No, they need a bit of game sense. Vincent Kompany, I know he bossed the Championship, but it's a different kettle of fish.
He's not going to change, though. He said that, innit? He said he ain't going to change.
So then he's going to lose his job then. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to lose his
Well,
job
then he'll
because this
go down
Burnley
on the
side
ship,
isn't
innit?
good enough.
That's his thing. He says he reckons he'll keep playing like this, and at some point it'll click. If it does, buzzing. If not, yeah, they either go straight back down with him as the manager, or he gets sacked. But yeah, man, Chelsea. I think Chelsea. Look, I think they've been Chelsea fans have been in a bad place for 12 months or something, and yeah, I think that it seems like things might be turning around. It is a tough period that they're going through now, but like I say, I think this is what they need, man. I think this is what they need.
They need the players back as well. They have a lot of players out. The Chocomekas, the Nkunku comes back, Badiashile, Reece James is going to be back. I think this international break came at the right time for them. They can prepare for the Arsenal game. I actually think this is exactly. I echo what LB said here. Like this is.
Mo,
this is
do you
the
think they'll beat Arsenal? Let's cut all the crap. Do you think they're going to beat Arsenal?
They don't beat
They
Arsenal.
have a chance, yes.
They have a chance.
Yes.
I don't think they beat Arsenal, but I don't think they get humbled. I don't think they get.
I don't predict the future, Patrick, but I think they have a chance. Yes, it's not doom and gloom. Like if Arsenal tomorrow play Burnley, I would say it's 100% Arsenal will win. If Arsenal tomorrow play probably a lot of teams, I would tell you, yeah, I think Arsenal will win. I cannot sit here and tell you confidently that Arsenal at the bridge will win against this Chelsea now. I can't say that. With as good as Arsenal is probably one of the best teams in the league, I can't say that now. After seeing Chelsea for the last 2 games, especially. Yes, against Burnley, but I said they looked all right on the eye. They just didn't score the goals. Their strikers look composed now, which is what they needed. And now it's clicking. They're creating chances. Cole Palmer now added a different dimension to the team. So I think it looks all right now. It doesn't look as bad as it looked in the beginning of the season, especially in the final third. They're creating chances and even more chances. And now they're putting them in the back of the net. At the bridge, fans actually will be fired up. And I think it's a good chance. So why not? Why not?
What do you think of that, Rory? Obviously, they're going to be playing your team next. You sound supremely confident of going to the bridge. And would it be the 4th win on the bounce at Stamford Bridge for you lot?
Yeah, it would be, and that's the thing. We've beat them 3 in a row at Stamford Bridge, and I think this is the worst team that we'll have faced going into a game at the Bridge. So I'm pretty confident we're going to have, in theory, everyone back bar Jerry and Timber. So for the first time all season, apart from him, we'll be at full strength. And I'd be surprised if we didn't beat them. So not much to worry about, I think.
Interesting viewers. I'd love to know what you think and what you feel about that there. Tevin here says, Mo, does Chelsea beat City if they play next?
No.
They got
no. Absolutely not.
Fair enough.
That City that we saw against Arsenal will come to that, and we'll talk why I think it's not the same.
Tevin rates Arsenal on the same level as City. That's why he asked that question. That has to be the only explanation.
Mo, Chelsea look better than a lot of teams. Check the Opta stats. Chelsea don't concede many chances to opponents, and their position is an illusion right now.
But is that directed to me? But that's what I said.
Well, it's to you. I think it's the panel. I mean, like, statistically speaking, they have a lot of possession. They create a lot of chances. They barely concede. It has been converting chances, and as soon as they've started scoring goals, they've won 3 on the bounce. So,
yeah,
but
it's maybe it's a simple explanation. They just wanted to be composed and collected in front of the goal. Once they are now,
I don't
it
think
looks
that's
all
going to
right.
stick, though. I don't think that's going to stick. Like you said, they've turned up recently, but it's not been in the games they've turned up and scored the goals in. It's been games they've mostly been expected to win. But are these players who are inconsistent finishers going to maintain that composure and maintain that coolness when instead of it being Thomas Kaminski or James Trafford, it's an Alisson or an Edison or, you know, a Ramsdale or a Raya, and the stadium is all against them? I don't know if the likes of Nicholas Jackson, I back Nkunku because he's done it at the top level in Champions League in massive ties before. The likes of Jackson and Broya, I don't know whether they have the minerals necessarily to consistently finish those chances, which will then just be the same issues recurring for Chelsea. Just thinking they're against.
No, but hold on, but I want to add something here. Chelsea forwards didn't score against big nor small teams. Like, it was a case of both, Tom. You're saying that when it comes to Alisson, they didn't score against Forest. They didn't score against Fulham, if I'm not mistaken. They lost against Fulham. So it's not only about the Ramsdales or the Alisson. They were just misfiring in every level against every team. It wasn't only about the big defenders.
Yeah, but
And
Mo,
now
they've
they
not
are
exactly
firing.
turned a corner. 2 games is not turning a corner. Let's make that blatantly obvious. 2 games is not turning a corner.
But that's the chance. That's the chance now. Like,
but then
so when are you gonna
point.
say that they have a chance when they win 10 games in the bounce? Is that when we're gonna say
if they show me for, let's say, 6-7 games in a row, and they aren't playing just relegation fodder or bottom half table fodder for the entire time, if they end up, because like you said, their next game is Arsenal. If Arsenal comes to Stamford Bridge and their players, their strikers, turn up and finish those chances, then maybe I start to go, you know what, this might be the turning point. But if the same story starts repeating itself, where Jackson gets 2 big chances and misses them both, a chance falls for Sterling and he misses it, and the same story that's happened this season and last season for Chelsea repeats itself, then no, they haven't turned the corner. They had a good run. They had a little blip in what is, because that's the mad thing. What they've just done is a blip. It's a blip because they don't normally do this.
But Tom, you can argue that the beginning of the season was their blip. You can argue which one is more of a blip than when they weren't scoring goals in the beginning of the season, or when they started scoring goals in the last 3 games. Because you could look at it both ways. You could be like, okay, this is what they should have been like in the first 4 or 5 games, and now they're starting to click. Because I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and see what most say.
No, but you can say the whole this is what they should have been like. What the stats show is they create really good chances. They create good chances. Whether finishing, you cannot tell how good a player or a finisher a player is based on the stats. So yes, they create the good chances and don't score them. That's all it is. That I don't think is going to change.
You've also got the whole of
unless
season.
they add someone else, I don't see that consistently changing.
You've got the whole of last season as well.
None of the players that play at the moment, bar Sterling, actually played last season, Rory. Cole Palmer is new. Jackson is new. I thought Broya was injured as well. Enzo Caicedo.
But it's not like they've never played before.
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
It's not like they've never played before. I get what you're saying. The likes of Jackson wasn't there last season. The likes of a Broya, he missed the majority of last season. Mudryk only had the second half of the season. Madueke only had the second half of the season, sure. But it's not like these players weren't playing football before. The only good finisher was Nicholas Jackson, and that was for 6 months after he got linked with Bournemouth. These players are not like, it's not like they were clinical finishers for week in, week out where they were before, and now they've come here and it's like a hoodoo. They've just never been these clinical finishers.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying with that, right? I would say this. I look at their run, just looking at their run of form now that's on the horizon. They play Arsenal, then they play Brentford, forget the EFL Cup for a minute. Then they've got Tottenham, then Man City, then Newcastle, then Brighton, then Man United, all up until the 6th of December. And yeah, that's really tough. But so often in football, and I know they were poor last year, but so often in football, when you see a run like that and you go, oh, they could lose all of them, it never really happens, does it? Even the small teams, and they'll have a run of games where it might be a team that's a relegation side, and they'll play City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford in a run, and you go, they're going to lose them all. And they always get some draws. They always pick up one win that maybe people don't expect them to. So Chelsea, I don't think they're going to get battered in all these games. I also think, like, you look back against Liverpool, they played very good football. As an example, they played decent football, I thought, as well against West Ham. The only interesting factor that goes against that is that when you actually look at the fixture list, they haven't really played anybody since they played Liverpool in the opening day of the season. They've played a lot of teams that they should be beating, or on paper their squad's better than. You argue maybe not so much Villa. Villa have started really well, as an example. This is when we're really going to learn about what Poch has done with his Chelsea side. And I think for Chelsea fans, there's an element of nervousness, but also I agree with what Lewis has said. It's what they need. They need to be tested. At the end of the day, you never really fully tested against teams in the bottom half of the table. And I know they're officially in the bottom half, but we know their squad is better than that. So it's going to be an interesting time ahead for them. Don here, man like Don, hope you're well, says Tom is stressed.
I'm all good, mate. I'm not worried about mid-table battles.
Well, you ain't won in the last 2, so your form ain't very good. But yeah, I hear you. Tevin here says, what I'm saying is Chelsea now the 2nd or 3rd best team in the Prem? If City is the only team they don't beat, that's crazy.
Nah.
Mo said, let me defend Mo. He said, I'm talking about the game not being 100%. So he said if they're placing, what was the example you used? I think you said Burnley. He's like, if it's Burnley, I would say Arsenal 100% would win. But because it's Chelsea, I still give them a chance. That doesn't mean that Mo rates them as the second best team in the league. He's just going to give them a chance against Arsenal, maybe Liverpool, United, Brighton, certain teams. That doesn't necessarily mean that. It's not black or white, Tevin. I mean, there's a gray area in the middle that you're ignoring.
Facts.
Bro, someone said in the comment, how can Mo disrespect Saliba? I didn't even mention Saliba yet. You made me defend Chelsea. The people actually believe that Mo Genda, support Chelsea Football Club. When I'm all summer, I want this project to fail. For the good of football, this project has to fail. I said that many times, and I keep repeating it. But I'm reporting what's in front of me.
Look, it's going to be interesting with Chelsea because they've just been weird. They've been a team for like 40 odd games. I think all of us have been like, I want to play and get 3 points against because they've just become so bad. But I just don't see it lasting forever. They're going at some point. Listen, even the worst teams in Premier League history at times have beaten big sides. Maybe not the worst one or two teams, but the small teams every year, a handful of them beat the big teams. Chelsea are definitely going to start winning some of those games again soon against top 6 opponents. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It may not be Arsenal, but anyone who's deluding themselves and thinking they're never going to do it is crazy.
Genuine question on Chelsea, though.
Go on.
Barring Kunku, because we haven't seen him really play, who do you not think their best finisher is? Because the sad matter of fact with Chelsea is Reece James is in their top 3 finishers for me. I'd back Reece James to finish more chances than I'd back Mikhailo Mudryk. And that, for me, is an issue.
Well, that's why I always went in on Chelsea, bro, because they spent £1 billion and they've not even got like a legit striker. And I think the goalkeeper's suspect as well, man. So, like, 2 main positions on the football pitch, you spent £1 billion and I think they're massively upgradable, which shouldn't really be the case.
I mean, even then, I know Reece James is a fantastic right back. They've addressed the right back area. I still don't think left back is very good. Chilwell, not the best. Cucurella, he's a better right back now, apparently. Ian Maddison, is he even playing? He's just like turning down contracts. Or I don't know what's going on with him. He was supposed to be the big thing. That Chelsea squad, for how much they've spent, they should have a lot of anger at how weak that squad is.
I agree.
Even if everyone came back from injury, I still wouldn't have them in the top 4 best starting 11s.
Yeah, but Tom, remember, it's a process, bro. You know what I mean? It's a process. In a couple of years' time, then they'll be cooking.
I'd love for all of our clubs to have £3 billion processes. They'd be boss then.
Yeah, it's a madness. I don't know, man. Listen, I think I understand what they're doing. Yeah, buying all these young players and that the players that they think are going to be top ballers in a few years. But football doesn't work like that, man. Do you know what I mean? Football doesn't always work like that. You need a goal scorer. It's the hardest thing to do in football. Put the ball in the back of the net. They've not got one. Goalkeeper is nowhere near like the top goalkeepers in this league. And, you know, Mo wants it to fail. It could fail. There's a very good chance it fails. Because you don't look at the squad and go, yeah, that's £1 billion deal. They should have star players everywhere, but they don't. But I agree with Terry. I agree with Terry. I think in due course, they will be a lot better than they currently are.
I don't know. Chelsea's a very tough.
Yeah.
Like because of the money they spend, it's a very strange case of football.
It is. I think, this is the thing. I think most football fans would say what they've done is unprecedented in terms of how they spent their money, the contracts, and the way they're trying to rebuild. Therefore, does that not also dictate that you can't assess them for that spending in the same way you typically would? If they spent £1 billion, but it was on 6 world-class players, say they went out and bought the best goalie, the best 2 centre-backs, the best 2 midfielders, and Mbappe, and added that to what they had, I think the assessment would be very different to spending £1 billion on lots of youngsters. And I do believe that a good £300 million of what they've spent isn't even on players that they'll ever play. It's to resell those players in 2 to 3 years at a profit to generate even more income to the football club. So I do believe a percentage of their spending isn't even about improving Chelsea in the here and now in terms of personnel. But
maybe a billion's £1 billion or 700 million, £700 million. Like, they should still be better than what they currently are. I think is like a fair comment.
Yeah.
No, I do think that's fair. But it's, again, I just find it hard because they just haven't gone about anything in a normal way. I find it spending £1 billion, the expectation should be go and win the league. But we look at what they've built and you go, well, that ain't ready yet to win the league. Maybe in 2 or 3 years when they all develop. But normally teams spend what they've spent over a 3-year period slowly. So they get that leeway, if that makes sense. You know, if Arteta would have spent £750 million in his first 2 windows, he wouldn't have been given the amount of time that he was because the squad would have been built. But there we go. This here from Dow says, Rory, for God's sake, stop it with the overconfidence. Don't you learn from the Spurs match? What was your prediction for that game?
I mean, I predicted we'd win, but I also predicted we'd beat City, and then we did. And everyone kept telling me I was going to jinx it by saying Saliba would pocket Haaland. And
hey, I did think of you. I did think of you when he bullied him on Sunday, to be fair, Rory. I weren't in the shower, though. I was just normal. Like, I was just out there doing normal stuff.
I thought about it in the shower this morning.
We'll come back to that Arsenal one. This about this game. It says, Partey, Martinelli and Saka fully fit is going to be nasty work at the bridge. Tevin says he's basically saying that they have a chance to beat everyone except City. I'm just saying to get his point fully. Okay, I hear you, Tevin. Thank you very much. He was asking a question to say, like, you said that they can beat.
So
Arsenal.
Chelsea at the bridge. If any team goes to the bridge now, in my opinion, bar Manchester City with the full lineup, I think Chelsea will have a chance. That's it.
And that's what he was trying to allude to in his questions, is what he was saying.
That's exactly my statement right here.
There we go. Viewers, please keep hitting the like button for us, coming in on 1,000 likes on the show. Staffy, we're not going to spend too long on United today because there's lots to delve into with Arsenal and City, and there's some really good super chats and debates that I want to bring up. But there was some McTominay magic at the weekend that really saved Man United. I did only found this stat out yesterday, and I'm still waiting to see if anyone debunks it. But it's the first time ever Man United have gone in the Premier League, gone into injury time losing and have won a game. So 2 goals in injury time has actually never been done by us before. Is this something you think Man United can build off of? Or do you still feel as though there are major problems and nothing much is going to change?
Is Terry lagging or is it me? Am I lagging? Can you guys hear me?
No, we can't.
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear it.
This guy, Mo, bro. This guy.
I need to stop. Let him think that we cannot hear him, bro. Let him think.
We're trying to be serious here. Talk about serious football. I'm trying to talk serious football about Scotty Tuhari, and this guy's telling me you can't hear me. Can't be serious, bro.
Maybe I would have skipped the monologue. Go ahead. Now we have to listen.
I'm not gonna go on for a monologue. Do I think that the win changes much? No. I think I've seen enough already to know that I don't trust most of these players. And when I say trust them, I don't think we can. Can we play good football? Yes. Can we improve on the start of the season? 100%, because that was pretty bad. I mean, that was pretty low. It's not really that hard to play better football than how we started the season. So in that context, yes. However, is this win gonna change anything major for us this season? I don't think so. I think it's very good to pick up a win like that, especially in injury time, and to get that good feeling before the international break. Because the last thing you wanted to do is lose a game again before the international break. Because I swear we lost to Arsenal right before the first international break.
Yeah.
And then we had the whole Sancho thing for 2 weeks. I wasn't trying to hear that again. I wanted to go into the international break feeling a little bit better. The thing is with me, I've seen too many individual errors, too many individual mistakes, too many lapses of focuses for not only just the players, the senior players of this team, that makes me look at this team and I'm like, you know what? No matter how much Ten Hag tries to get this right, he's not going to get it right because he doesn't have the right individuals. Now, I could talk about it in terms of tactics, but at this moment, I want to talk about personality. Scott McTominay came on, scored 2 goals. Yes, he was locked on for the 5 minutes that he played, got 2 goals. It doesn't really happen a lot. People were saying it's luck. I don't think it's luck because I don't think we should have been down 1-0 to begin with. I think we played good enough football to not be losing at least. We weren't good in the final third to be winning by a good margin, but we definitely should have been 1 down, in my opinion. We were down 1-0 because of 2 errors, one from Casemiro and then one from Onana. You can't really blame the manager for that, can you? So that's the thing with me. I think that the win might get us on a good run when we come back. I mean, we play City, so can we really start a run when you have City right after Sheffield? Probably not. But are we going to be good enough this season? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to impact a lot for our season when we come back from the break.
I mean, if you would have lost, it would have been toast, right? Surely. I mean, you would have been, what, 13th? 13th?
Yeah, it would have to have gone. If we'd have lost, it would have been the 7th defeat of the season out of 11 games. So to put that into context, we played 62 matches last season and lost 12. So to have lost 7 in the opening 11, man would have had to have gone. And I agree with you, Staffy. Again, I'm seeing fans start this weird Casemiro agenda that he shouldn't have been taken off. And I sent you a lot of snippets, like I promised you. Amrabat's now going to get the kind of Bruno Rashford treatment from certain fans because they like creating adversity within our fan base. But the manager's got a lot of work to do. And look, some of it is based on how we're run as a club. Some of it is old issues are dying hard now. At the same time, the fact he still picked Bruno, the fact he still picked Rashford, the fact that he hasn't, I think he does deserve some time right on the bench. Onana, you've got to give other people in the squad opportunities to improve and perform and to deliver. If he keeps picking the guys that are underperforming, I think it sends a message to everybody else. What is the point of working hard because I can't get into this first team? So the manager's really getting it wrong at the moment. And people keep coming at me, well, why would you want him sacked, Terry, if you don't think it'll improve the team? Well, just because I don't think sacking him means we'll become the best we can doesn't mean the manager can just keep losing fucking games. Like, I don't understand why nuanced thinking doesn't exist in 2023 and it's all either sack him or keep him. And there's, again, I think the majority of normal, healthy thinking people live in the middle, to be fair. But yeah, I'm worried. Like, the win was great and I celebrated it. And I think you should always celebrate wins. And I hope we kick on. And I think AWB, Regulon will definitely be back. Shaw could be back. A number of our injured players could return after the international break. And that will give us a few more options in terms of the way we play. But yeah, it was weird. Again, it was a game where we had all the ball, where we had the majority of the chance we dominated, but we just looked flat at times. There's no movement. And again, I've seen this film before, and it just feels how things did with Jose, with Ollie, with LVG towards the end. And I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope the manager turns it around. But right now, my faith is waning. That's all I'm going to say. I want to support him.
He needs to drop some of these players because, as you said, Terry, and we're finally agreeing on a few things. As we don't usually do, but we're agreeing once again here. And we're saying that, listen, the manager is going to die on his sword, in my opinion. I think I said it the last time I was on the top 6. I said it, I think he was trying to do new things with this team. And in the meantime, while he's getting it to work, he's praying that Rashford is going to replicate his form from last season. Rashford so far is not giving him even 10% of what he was giving him last season. And this is why it's harder for him, because he doesn't want to make a decision where he drops certain personnel. Because I think, at least in the last 3 games, and you know, Terry, I've been very critical of this manager when he gets things wrong. So when I actually praise him, you know, it actually means something. I think the last 3 games, including the Palace game and the Galatasaray game, I think the manager coached these games correctly. What let him down in these games, in my opinion, is the personnel. But yet I have to blame him because he's insistent with this personnel. When he chose in the Galatasaray game, as an example, to take off Mason Mount and leave Bruno, I'm no fan of Mason Mount, and you know that clearly. But I thought Mason Mount was way better than Bruno during that game. He takes him off and he leaves Bruno. Bruno, that's 3 games in a row where I saw this video today and they called him a grenade launcher. The guy can't hold the ball for 3 seconds. I was crying when I saw that name. I'm going to steal that name moving forward. The guy plays like he's a grenade launcher. He holds the ball for 3 seconds, not even, then releases it. So when you have someone who is consistently getting it wrong, you're coaching the right game, but you're not doing anything in the final third. It means your personnel is not correct. Are you trying to change that? No, you're insisting with your 2 main guys, Bruno and Rashford. So if you lose and you're not getting the results, regardless of the football, you have to be held accountable. Because once again, Garnacho, as an example, comes on, someone who I don't rate highly, but comes on again for a 3rd game in a row, and he looks way better than Rashford. He's getting the ball into dangerous areas. He's making the correct runs. He's playing more as a unit with his teammates rather than being a little bit more individual. But then he doesn't get a start. And I'm not saying in the grand scheme of things is Garnacho a better player than Rashford. But currently, as of the last 3 games, he's been better. So why are you not doing that? So this is why I can't have too much sympathy for Ten Hag, because I think the players are letting him down, but you keep picking them. Maybe you could change something. And as you said, Terry, it just shows an example for the players. How am I working hard and I'm still not getting ahead of certain players, even though they're making mistakes? You know? Yeah, so the manager is 50-50 for me.
Do you believe that Brentford were going to score if Onana doesn't make that mistake?
Not at all. I'm not gonna lie.
So you think that this game would have gone your way if Onana doesn't make this
they
mistake?
they would listen. They had a couple of shots late in the game that Onana had to save, but that was when we were pushing loads of people forward to score. Just like the Palace game, outside their set piece goal, they didn't do anything to us. They really didn't. And we've conceded too many goals this year through individual player errors, like leaving us in a situation, or some simple shots at the goalie that you would expect, you know, the under-16s goalie of Man United to save. They've not been good shots. They're the Bayern Munich's first goal, average shot. Like it wasn't that good. The Brentford shot, awful. There was another one, I can't even think what game it was now, where you think, okay, it's one of those shots where it's going at your goalie and you're like, okay, that's fine, save. And he doesn't do it. And I think there's a great goalkeeper in Onana. I still think Casemiro's got a lot to give. But you've got to drop these people. And when you don't drop them, when you don't make them sit on the bench, you create almost like an entitled and a bloated, you know how you see them in movies, American movies, those rich blonde kids who, you know, wear the jumpers over their shoulders and they're just arrogant and they think they can do whatever they want. That's how Man United players get. Like,
the varsity jackets. That's
like they don't have to work hard. They're like the height of what's the word, privilege, and they don't view the world the way the rest of us do. That's how our players get. And it's also why so many of our players decline when they join. Sometimes it's form, sometimes it's not being dropped at the right time. Imagine the message it sends to the backup goalkeeper. Onana can keep making these mistakes. And the one thing about goalies that annoys me when people say, oh, if you drop a goalkeeper, though, it ruins their confidence forever. What bollocks is that? The only people that say that are goalkeepers who don't want to be dropped. The rest of it, you drop goalies that are playing badly. It's just simple. It's just as simple and straightforward as that. It's crazy to me.
We're waiting for the loan back. I'm waiting for the loan back. You pay his wages. We'll take him back.
Yeah, that'll probably happen.
Probably.
Sancho's going to go back to Dortmund. Onana will go, listen, that's the way. I mean, Ajax can have fucking Ten Hag back at this rate. Do you know what I mean? It's getting crazy for us. But we'll see what can happen there. Go on, bro.
Sorry, I was going to say, I actually feel really sorry for Ten Hag. I don't think enough is made of or emphasized how insane the injury crisis is. Like, if you look at any other team, if you took the starting back four and another two senior defenders out of any squad, I think they'd be massively, like, if you took Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Jurriën Timber and Tomiyasu out of Arsenal, that would leave us with Jakub Kiwior and Cedric Suarez as the only two senior defenders. If you do that for any other club, pretty much, I think they'd be on their knees, and I think they'd be struggling just as much. So then you've already got that issue. Then you start talking about dropping other senior players. I feel like it's very difficult to judge him at the moment with what is like almost an unprecedented level of injury problems.
But here's the thing, Rory. At the end of the day, it is a results business. By the way, I agree with you. But if me and Terry sit here and talk about injuries, we're gonna get abused in the comments. Look at them making excuses.
Will, yeah. Which is why I've got to say.
Bring out. Okay, so we appreciate you for that, because people are going to tell me that bring out the Norwich scarf and they're going to start crying about injuries and the Glazers, blah blah blah. So we try to stay as objective as we can. I agree with you. However, though, at the end of the day, it is a results business. When you are the manager for Manchester United, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, you are expected to deliver in hard situations, in high pressure situations. The football doesn't always have to be pretty. This is why, Terry, if you remember, I came out after the Burnley game when we had so many injuries, and I'm like, why are people upset? We picked up 3 points at Burnley today. Yes, it was hideous, but we had Evans starting a game for us and Hannibal and McTominay. I was like, I'm just happy we left with the 3 points, and people wanted to talk about performance. But I needed a few more of these Burnley games, Rory, if that makes sense. I needed a couple more results where we're like, you know what? We are so bad down and bad right now. We don't have the personnel to play the football that we want in the majority of the games. However, I'm going to salvage as many points as I can until I get some of these players back, until I finally have a real left back that can play in left back, and then I can put Hemmer into the midfield, and then maybe I get, I don't know who back from the injured players that we still have, and then I could start playing better. If he had a few more of these Burnley results, people would have been like, you know what, the football is bad, but at least we're picking up points. But when it's neither, it's hard to defend the manager. So I get your point, but
I also think as well, losing against the top teams, and you've got that amount of injuries, makes sense. But we're losing against teams in the last few games, or we've struggled, where we're having 70% of the ball, and they're not really a threat to us in the majority of the game. And if you'd have got a few different personnel people in there, then it'd have won those matches. But the good thing is it's recoverable. I know that this season, the team, if you come fifth, you're getting into Champions League. England, the Premier League are in the top two leagues in Europe under the coefficient points. We're only 4 points away from fifth place. Now, I know people will say, well, fifth, you know, it's not progression from last year, but there is still an opportunity to turn this season around. We're in all the cup competitions still. We can still make the Champions League next year. It's still, I mean, we're only 8 points off the top, which isn't a massive chasm. However, he's got to get it right as soon as we get back, and we've got to beat Sheffield United, and we actually have to beat City. We have to beat Man City and then get ourselves onto a nice little run of games where we start to catch up with everybody else. But it remains to be seen if that can be done. Viewers, please hit the like button for us. Please make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. As you all know, we're sponsored today by NordVPN. You shouldn't be using the internet without having the protection that Nord provides for you. It's as cheap as chips. It's pennies per day to actually have this, and you can have up to 5 devices at a time. But one of the main reasons I use it is to be able to watch the 3 o'clock games and have access to even more football very, very cheaply. I use Satanta Sports. I changed my geolocation to Moldova or to Georgia. Generally, I do it to Georgia now. And with their app and with their website for $3.99 a month, I get all the Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, a bit of Formula One, UFC, and much, much more. Take a quick look at this video, people, and how easy it is for you to sign up to this as well. It should appear on the screen now. As you can see, you turn your VPN provider on. You literally then go into that app. I'm not going to show how to set it up because it's literally with Apple Pay. It's easy. And this will show you all the list of games that are available, highlights that are available on the phone, on the app for you as well. And as I say, other than paying for Sky Sports and TNT Sports or DAZN, that are very, very expensive indeed, this is a cheap alternative that you can use along with your NordVPN. So if you haven't signed up to this yet, make sure you get it done. You can see all the different leagues available as well as the Saudi leagues. If you want to go and watch that, now that it's become popular, it's all available for $3.99 a month. Plus, of course, what you spend on NordVPN itself. So go and get signed up to that, people. Make sure that is being done. Now, the weekend, gentlemen, we saw an absolutely epic, for me, it was an epic game. And I enjoy football like this. If you've watched the Terrace long enough, you've heard me say it before. I quite like the chess match games where the defending from both sides is amazing, where you barely get opportunities, where both teams are pragmatic at times. They're trying to suss each other out. And we got that yesterday. I thought it was an epic encounter where Arsenal in the end had that little bit more class than Manchester City. They grabbed the goal. They go joint top of the league with Tottenham and are actually at this point in a better place than they were. 2 points ahead of Man City as opposed to 1 at this stage last season. Rory, you got the prediction right, you'd win. You also predicted that Saliba would pocket Erling Haaland, and you did both of those things impeccably well. How proud were you of the performance, and what do you think the ramifications of this could be for your season?
Yeah, massively proud. And I think the biggest thing it showed us was that there's maturity within this squad. And I know we've had a lot of abuse for saying that it's a young squad, that last season it was such a young squad, but there was a maturity yesterday in the way that we played. And I think it's just a massive confidence boost. It's a massive, there was this chip on our shoulder, whatever, that we couldn't beat City, and we finally done it. And we did it comprehensively. We restricted Man City to the lowest number of shots they've had in a game under Pep Guardiola. And I think we deserve to win. So it wasn't like we, got lucky or got a decision go our way that shouldn't have done. If anything, it went the opposite way in that sense. And yeah, I think it's a good chance to kind of. It sounds weird to kickstart our season, but there's been a lot of talk about whether we're struggling, whether we look as good as we did last season. I think that's a result that shows that we can go toe to toe with City again this season. So yeah.
I don't know how you can't say that's lucky. That wasn't lucky though. It took a deflection on the way through. That was lucky.
I don't think that's luck. I think you earned that.
Come on, Rory.
We had more shots. We had more shots on target. You should have been down to 10 men. We restricted you. We restricted Erling Haaland to 0 XG. Do you like?
Just say you're buzzing about the win, but you don't have to say it wasn't lucky. It was lucky. Clearly, it was lucky. It took a deflection.
I think it was going top bins anyway. But look, it's by the by. We deserve to win. We did win. And I don't think City fans know how to handle defeat. It's been quite salty over the last few hours. So yeah,
got used to it, bro.
Well, I was about to say, like, you obviously Pep's interview after the game. You had Carl Walker kicking off with the set piece coach, Lucky Talk, obviously the likes of Lewis and everything else. There does seem to be a bit of bitterness, Lewis, from City fans towards this defeat. Is it because you're not used to losing? Is it because it was Arsenal?
I don't know why City fans are bitter, if they are bitter, because I'm not bitter. You know what I mean? I'm holding the L. I'll take the L. I didn't think Arsenal deserved to win the game at all. I thought a draw was a fair result. But yeah, listen, it's early on in the season, match day 8. I'm not in panic mode at all, man. I'm not in panic mode at all. I thought defensively we were sound. Rory talks about, Arsenal stopping us from creating much, but we stopped Arsenal from creating anything really. They didn't really have too much to create either. For City, the only issue for us is lack of creativity again. 2 games in a row now in the Premier League. Wolves away, didn't create nothing. Arsenal away, didn't create nothing. I thought a draw was a fair result. Thought it was an interesting tactical battle. I think both teams didn't want to lose. But listen, I'm pretty calm, to be honest with you.
That was what cost you, I think. I think you showed us too much respect in the first 25 minutes. I thought that first 25 minutes, we looked shaky, we looked nervous, we looked like a team that kind of felt like we can't beat Man City. And I thought you showed us too much respect. I thought tactically you could have gone for the kill, and you could have buried us within that first 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you didn't really go for it, which was it kind of led to that maybe.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think City maybe did show a little bit too much respect to Arsenal. I don't know whether City were almost a little bit shocked early on at how much of the ball we had. Maybe they thought Arsenal was going to come out the traps and they didn't. City had the ball. Maybe they were didn't expect that, so they didn't really have a game plan for it. But yeah, listen, our midfield was seriously poor again without Rory. We seriously missed that guy. Luckily, he's back now, but it's cost us massively because we lost 6 points since he's been gone. But yeah, like I say, on the whole, didn't think we deserved to lose. Thought a draw was a fair result. But yeah, the 2 best teams in the country, and we just have to take the L and move on.
Why are City, panel to answer this as well? Why are City struggling to, in his words, create? For me, I see it more as they're struggling to finish their chances, because I thought against Wolves you had an abundance of opportunity to score. But why are City struggling? And it is struggling. 3 domestic defeats on the bounce. Is this just a case of Rodri being missing, or is there a lack of motivation? Is this team, maybe getting a little bit? I'm not saying too big for its boots. There was a video of Haaland that I've seen where they asked him, have they done anything specific to be able to beat Arsenal? And he sort of said, no, we don't really focus on that. Is there a bit of arrogance? Is there a little bit of the hunger's gone because they did a treble, or is this just a really bad little?
I'll answer that first, and then maybe the panel can come in. But no, I think the problem is simply our midfield just can't create nothing. Kovacic doesn't create nothing. There's a myth going round that Bernardo Silva creates stuff because he's called Bernardo Silva, he's from Portugal. He's not a creator. Look at his numbers. He doesn't really create. That's not his game. He creates a bit when he's out on the wide right, but other than that, when he's in the middle, that's not really his bag. And then you've got Alvarez and Foden, who against Arsenal played very narrow, and Pep Guardiola explained it after the game because he wanted to pack out that midfield because obviously we were worried about Arsenal's midfield. And then it just gets very, very narrow. Hence why Gvardiol was one of our most creative players out on the left-hand side. He got all the space. So effectively, one of your most creative players is a centre-back, Gvardiol. And that's why we weren't creating. And that was pretty much exactly the same thing against Wolves, other than the fact that we did have Doku who tried. But listen, I think the whole thing changes when Rodri comes back into the side. He's a goal threat himself. He creates chances himself. And it should help push the team up a little bit. John Stones is back as well. That's great. We can really push teams forward. It's not ideal. I don't think it's like a crisis we're in. I just think it probably shows what it does do. It probably highlights how difficult the season could be if Rodri sustains a serious injury. Because without him in the team, we just
it's scary.
I don't think we have an idea of how to play because now Gundogan's gone. Because when Gundogan was here, Gundogan could just play in the 6, like we did against United when we beat him 6-3 last year. But without him, we've not got that. And I think if Rodri got a serious injury, oh hell no,
I mean, Kovacic has already failed his audition for being a stand-in for that role. I thought one of the key aspects of being a DM at a top team is your calmness, your composure, and his head. I don't care how he stayed on that football pitch yesterday. That was another massive game in the Premier League marred by awful refereeing. I think with City, I've said it now for a while, I think they just go through spells where they create the wrong chances and the chances don't fall to the right people. and maybe the build-ups are, slightly wrong. The wrong players are getting the ball in the key areas. When Haaland's getting 0.00 XG, part of that will be on him, but a lot of it, it's not like City think Haaland's this drop-deep creator. They know what he is. They're just not creating the right chances for him for whatever reason. When they're able to get the security of Rodri back at the base of their midfield, everything pushes up again. I think right now, as well with City, there's a bit of a sort of teething period for a number of the new signings. You've got Matheus Nunes. I know Doku's had the bright start, but there's still a lot to come with him. Obviously, Mateo Kovacic as well. And then what does that do for the players who were so important last year, like Jack Grealish? Obviously, I know he's had an injury for now, but are we then moving Jeremy Doku to the right? I think one of the players that Man City might be missing a little bit more than I think it's went under the radar. Mahrez always turned up in games like this. I felt he was always a threat in terms of his creativity. He could always size up a fullback and take them on, and losing that, I think it's hurt them a little bit more than has been let on. I don't think it's, Man City are not going to win the title. Man City are going to have an off season. No, they'll sort it out. Pep Guardiola will sort it out. He'll find a way. Probably Kovacic will end up playing false nine or something, and that's the new tactical evolution that kicks them on, or something like it is every year. But they do have to solve these issues, because it's frightening how average they look without Rodri. That is a terrifying prospect, and I made a joke about it. He should get if that's what Man City look like without Rodri, give him the Ballon d'Or, because that team won a treble with him, and they look mid-table at best without him. So what's that telling you? Just how important he is. But I don't think it's crisis mode or it's a lack of motivation or anything.
No.
I think it's just teething problems.
Bro, it cannot be crisis. Even if they don't win the league, they just want a treble. Who cares? Move on. These players, Doku will be all right. Alvarez will be better. Haaland will be better. It's not. I don't think after a treble winning season, unless you're out of the Champions League completely, like Man City find themselves like 5th or 6th, that's when crisis mode. They're still going to top the group. They're going to go far in the Champions League. They will challenge for the title. Win it or not win it, that's on Pep. But I thought yesterday Pep got it wrong. People just don't want to say that because he's the greatest manager of this generation. He completely got it wrong. Offensively, defensively, Man City always look solid. They always don't concede 2 or 3, right? They don't. But offensively, when Arsenal had the ball last year, Haaland was able to bring the ball down. Kevin De Bruyne was running past him. There was players playing off him. Yesterday, Foden and Alvarez were non-existent. Even when they were trying to play Haaland, nobody was around. It was so isolated, very easy to mark. Either on Pep, either on Haaland, there was no width. He could have played Doku and gave Arsenal something to think about, but instead of playing...
Yeah, but then he opens up the midfield.
But yes, I get what you're saying, Lewis. But Arsenal had nothing to think about offensively from your side. Not at all. And
they also got really limited. They also got seriously limited when they went forward.
I disagree, though.
What do you mean?
This is what me and you
we had a higher
this
XG
morning.
than them.
So it's not that. It's for me. I say Arsenal got into good. How many times we saw Gabriel Jesus dragging Gavardiol all the way to the line when Gavardiol had to
what
break
did you do with it?
But that's the point.
What do you mean?
This is when getting in good positions. If Arsenal play full team Man City, you wouldn't even be in that position. You'd be harmless. You would be harmless. Arsenal weren't harmless yesterday. They had 12 shots. You can say it's off target, yes, but that means off target means the player shot the ball, but they got into the position to shoot the ball. You want to get one-on-one?
Were of low quality, as proved by the XG. If we would have done yesterday what you say, we would have got smashed. Because our midfield would have got ran through. You wanted what? Kovacic at the base of midfield and then Foden and Alvarez in the middle. Doku left. That would have got destroyed.
I think just drop one of the midfielders or something. Drop Foden, play Doku on the line, put Foden on the line. There was many tactical things could have been done.
I look at the fact that John Stones and I know he's just come back from injury, and Matheus Nunes. Again, I just felt like with young Lewis and Silva in that midfield, very good technically. They just got overpowered by bigger men. They just got bullied by bigger men. And if you'd had bigger men out there who are both technical, again, we know how good John Stones was in central midfield last season. That could have been that way. Then you bring Doku into the situation to provide width, and I don't think you get destroyed in the middle. I think Pep has made mistakes in the way he approached yesterday. But I also think you have to credit that to what Arteta did. Yes, they were nervy in the opening 15, 20 minutes, but I think Pep and City expected Arsenal to do what they've done in the last 3 or 4 home games against you and come out and try and attack and be open. And they just turned around and went, no, we're gonna sit back and we're gonna commit to attacks, but not overcommit, and we're just gonna bide our time. And I understand the line of it was lucky. I looked at it as though I think Arsenal did deserve to win. I really did. This is the first time since 2010 that a team has reduced you to that few amount of shots. No one stopped. I've never seen anyone pocket Haaland like this. All those elements they nullified, but they got the game plan right. And I've said this many times. Klopp gets angry at this, and Pep's got angry at it before as well. When teams don't play a style of football that helps them win, we've seen those managers moan about it before, where they get annoyed. And what's always annoyed me is football fans talk about this. I want my manager to play our brand of football, no matter who he's against, no matter where it is, home or away. That only makes sense to me is if you're as good as Man City, or if you're as good as peak Barcelona were, if you're one of the best teams in the world. Arteta, for me, I thought he was so smart yesterday because he went, you know what? We can't beat City doing that. We always lose. We've got to play different. And it made you guys change your game, and they grabbed the win. But I do think, I agree with Mo, you could have made some fundamental changes to the way you set up and really gone for it a little bit more, and you didn't, and you ended up losing. And look, no one's writing City off. I've seen the papers kind of do this today, and I think you guys are in a bit of bad form. But I am also shocked that just without Rodri, you guys can suddenly completely fall apart. With the amount of money, listen, my club has wasted loads. This isn't about point scoring, but this is just speaking facts. With the amount of money you guys have spent, to not be able to win games without Rodri, is that horrendous management in your opinion, of in terms of transfers? Because to not be able to win a game without Rodri, by the way, against Wolves included, like, how can you have a squad that can't cope without one player?
Well, again, Wolves had 1 shot on target in the whole game and scored 2 goals. So, yesterday we would have got a 0-0 at the second best team in the country away from home if it wasn't for a deflected shot. I do think a little bit of reality needs to just, come into the conversation a little bit. It's not like we've got smashed off 2 teams. To be honest, in my opinion, I think we should have got a draw against Wolves. I think we should have got a draw against Arsenal. I don't think we did enough to beat any of them, but I certainly don't think we did enough to get beat in any of the games either. So, yes, it's a concern, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to get a CDM that replaces Rodri, because they're only going to play 15 games a season. So they're never going to be fully match fit when they come in for him. I think the way to go is the player that we already had, Gundogan, a player that can play in 6, but plays in the midfield. So then when Rodri gets injured, it's okay, I'm just going to drop you back into the 6. You're fully match fully match fit, and you can now move into the 6th position. No problems. We know you can do it. Bring another midfielder in. But obviously we fucked up that one. That was a major error from the club. The club decided, because they went all out for Jude Bellingham, clearly decided whatever with Gundogan. By the time they offered Gundogan what he wanted, he'd already agreed to go to Barcelona.
Well, I think where you could be right, is you can understand now. I mean, you ended up pulling out because he chose Arsenal, but you can see now why Pep wanted Declan Rice, because he can play in multiple midfield positions, including that role. And he was sensational yesterday. So again, you could tell why you went for that. It's just interesting that you didn't go for an alternative player that can do that instead of going for Matheus Nunes, who clearly doesn't think can do that, as he was started yesterday. So
Terry, I don't understand the Nunes signing, to be honest with you. I think he's a decent player. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't understand why we've sat. I think that was maybe a panic buy, because where's he going to play? Is he not going to play 6? Obviously, yesterday was a great opportunity for him to play as a 6. Well, he's not going to get in ahead of Kovacic, because I think Kovacic is adored by Pep Guardiola already. And then the other midfield is going to be one of Foden, Alvarez, Bernardo, or Kevin. So, I don't really understand the new. I think that was probably a little bit of a panic buy, to be honest with you. I don't really get it.
I think that's been I don't think the panic buy thing has been a trend, but in terms of his attributes, I think it's been a trend of yours. So when I look at the players that you bought, Doku was a fantastic dribble out and ball carrier. Nunes, his main strengths when he was at Sporting Lisbon were ball carrying, ball progression, his dribbling skill. Kovacic, I'd say when he was at Chelsea, his best attribute was his dribbling, his close control, his ball progression. Gvardiol, really good defender, but he's also, one of the better ball progressors and dribblers out from the back. It seems like your main focus this window was trying to bring in dribblers, basically, and I just want to know how that's going to work with the rest of your squad when I don't think like Alvarez is a dribbler per se. I think he's more of a link-up player. I think Foden is a mixture of both, but I think he prefers the link-up. I think Kevin De Bruyne, a link-up player. Rodri, a link-up player. It seems like you're trying to move to a different way, but the key players in the squad are still in the other style. So I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work throughout the rest of the season. Are we going to see the likes of Matheus Nunes maybe take the spot of Bernardo Silva throughout the season when Pep decides he wants to go for more of this dribbling quality? Like I that's the part of your business that confused me. Why you went for so many players who have the same main attributes in terms of their ball progression and dribbling.
Yeah, well, look, I think the Doku signing is a great signing, and so is Cavadio. I just think, and I think Kovacic at the price we paid is great. I just don't really understand the Nunes one. I think we needed someone who's more attack minded. You know, I've not really seen too much of Nunes, to be honest with you. I didn't really watch him much at Wolves, and I didn't watch him at Sporting Lisbon. But if you look at his numbers, the guy's never really got like goals and assists. And I don't know. I just think the midfielders that we were looking at, it's a bit scattergun. You know, you was looking at Jude Bellingham. Then it was also, I know for a fact we was in for Maddison, but by the time we wanted him, he'd already gone to Tottenham. Rice, we were too late, but he's more sort of a bit more defensive minded. Then Paqueta, who's more attack minded, and then Nunes, who's a bit more defensive / all rounder or whatever.
Then Eze, which is
Eze, I think we
another
was
guy.
interested in. Yeah, just a bit weird. I don't know.
It's all over the place. Yeah,
Yes, it's so true. I want to ask
Can we
Patty a
give credit
question.
to Arsenal a little bit? Can we give credit?
No,
to
I
Arsenal?
want to ask Patty a question here. Patty, do you think Arsenal were lucky yesterday?
You know what? I thought it was such a boring game. I'm sorry. I know you guys spoke about chess games and tactical battles. I was so bored watching that game. I fell asleep almost twice. It was such a shit game. I'm sorry. And I think Arsenal, probably they created a bit more. But I think there was like 2 shots on target for Arsenal to Man City's 1. It was just a boring game of football, a rubbish game of football. No team really went out to win the game. And I was really disappointed. It was billed as the biggest game of the weekend. It was the biggest game of the weekend. I was really looking forward to it. Obviously, they are the 2 best teams. I'm not going to be disingenuous, but it was a crap game of football, man. And if you had just tuned in to watch that game of football and you was watching the Premier League, you would have been highly disappointed, as I was, and many people were, from all the conversations I had. David Raya looked very shaky at first. Yeah, Man City should have put more on him. When you said about Arsenal being lucky, I don't think they're lucky. Obviously, you create your own luck. When Martinelli came on, he was actually the shining light, the player that was actually doing something, taking a man on, trying to create, and credit to him. He took the shot and he deflected in. Arsenal, I don't know, man, but I wasn't impressed with the game. I think Kovacic should have got sent off. It's insane how he didn't get a red card for that tackle on who was it on again? Odegaard. Yeah, it was a horrible tackle, and that should go to VAR and they should look at it, and it's an instant red card. If you look at all the other challenges, especially in the Tottenham Liverpool game and the Chelsea, how did he get away with that? That's insane. And then literally a couple of minutes later, he then takes out Declan Rice. He was really late, and Michael Oliver just literally waves play on. I just don't understand the level of refereeing. There's no consistency. There's no threshold. There's no bar. And obviously, I wanted Man City. No, to be fair, I actually wanted Arsenal to win that game, if I'm being honest. To keep the league as exciting as possible, it's better that Arsenal picked up the points. We all know Man City are the best team and pretty much will walk the league. But for the sake of obviously even Tottenham staying top and the league being as competitive as possible, it's better that Arsenal win that game, because Man City, when they go on their run, will obviously pick up as many points as possible. And Arsenal, over the course of the season, will drop more points than City. That's a fact. But still, just watching the game, I just don't know how Kovacic stayed on the pitch. But all in all, a crap game and a really disappointing game.
I have 2 points to add about to talk about Arsenal. Number one is that any team with that decision going against them would come out of the second half thinking about the decision, not focused on the game. But Arsenal came out of the second half focused. They were on top of the game. They stuck to the plan, and I thought that's credit to Mikel Arteta. That's
just an excuse mode. There's many teams that get things gone against them and they don't. Yeah, I
like
don't
that against Man City, their biggest game of the season so far. I call that blatant going against them. The young players not thinking about the decision and sticking to the plan. I think I have to give them credit. The second thing you said, Patrick, that Arsenal didn't want to win. If you bringing in a left back, a makeshift left back in Tomiyasu, who's a mainly center back, and his heat map is showing him being ahead of everybody, and he's the one who's receiving the long ball. I mean, the manager is giving him instructions. We want to win this game. You're a defender. I want you higher on the pitch. He was the highest guy on the pitch when Thomas Partey played that ball. That tells me that the manager wanted to win the game, and that was planned because he was at the end of that long ball. So that's just to the point that if Arteta didn't want to win this game, he would have brought in Tomiyasu and tell him, stay back. Why are you going forward? But he was the one in the 18. So that's just to the point. Brought in Kai Havertz, occupying the two center backs. He was good. Lump it to the big man. He was the big man up top, and it worked. So Arteta wanted to win the game, clearly from his substitutions and where his players were on the pitch in the second half. He literally tried to press them from the first minute. He wanted to get the ball hard on the pitch and wanted to create chances.
I do think there was an element, though. Like the one part of the game, I'll say there was a little bit of luck that went Arsenal's way was the fact that they managed to get through the David Raya stuff without conceding, because he looked petrified on that football pitch for the first 20-odd minutes. Mm-hmm. Like the one with Alvarez, if that's a yard to the right, it's in. And all of a sudden, it's 1-0 Man City away, and David Raya's made the biggest mistake. He did not look comfortable. He grew into the game. I will say, the second half, I thought he was fine. I thought the confidence was there in the second half, but in the first half, he looked shaky. The one that got cleared off the line, I think he's got to be doing better there. There was the fact that they got through that is the luck part of that game for them. But I thought in terms of the substitutions and the tactical side of things, I thought Arteta got it right at the end. I thought Kai Havertz and his skill set is better used as a false 9 or a target man than as a attacking 8. And I don't know why it's taken so long for him to realise that. I thought the idea of pushing Tomiyasu on, I thought it was to get a bit of a height advantage down that side, a bit of physicality advantage for them long balls that they were playing. So on that side of things, he got that right. So you have to give him credit there, but they did ride their luck a little bit with the David Raya stuff. But the player who I think was man of the match that game was Declan Rice. I thought he was absolutely superb. And again, I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. The disrespect that man gets is mind-blowing to me. He is a top footballer, and people act like he's a bang average player because he played for West Ham for years. And he doesn't have a fancy name. Declan Rice is a top DM, one of the best in the league. And he showed that yesterday. He cost a hell of a lot of money.
Tom. He wasn't even a DM.
He was the box-to-box 8 yesterday, and he still showed, all his qualities. He cost a lot of money, but that was a £105 million performance yesterday. It was.
I think what's interesting is a lot of Arteta's outers have been crying about, oh my God, we're going to use Declan Rice to replace Partey. I thought he was coming in to replace Xhaka. We haven't seen Partey, as football fans, we haven't seen Partey fit with him with all the defence back. It's going to be very interesting to see him and Partey play together with Declan Rice doing what he did yesterday, being more box to box, because it's got the potential to be the best midfield in the league, without a shadow of a doubt, because you have everything. Great ball playing ability, speed, power. There's no creativity in it, but that's what Odegaard's job is for up the other end. I think Declan Rice Xhaka had a good season last year, but Declan Rice could take things to another level when you look what he did yesterday on that left-hand side. But again, I know Rodri wasn't playing, but still against the best team in the world. He put that performance in against. Yeah, it was top class from him. There's no doubt about it. He was out of this world.
Go
on, mate.
Sorry, we've had a lot of talk about Rodri's injury and the City injuries, but Saka was out injured, Martinelli didn't start, Partey didn't start, and last season, both times we played them, Saliba didn't play the second time, Jesus didn't play the first time. So I don't like how much emphasis has been put on the injuries when Arsenal didn't get the same level of kind of.
But you have the best attacking midfielder in the world out, and the best DM in the world out. I think that's a pretty good argument to talk about. If I have two of the best players, not two of the best players in their position in the world, I don't think that's a weak argument at all. If I was a City fan, I would say the same thing. How do I not have the best DM in the world and the best attacking midfielder in the world?
Rodri,
And
we
now
had two.
Hang on, but sorry, Rory. But the Rodri situation shouldn't have sympathy anyway. He's not injured. He's not there because he strangled someone. It's on Rodri.
No.
It's
I
on
don't
him.
feel bad for Rodri.
Zero sympathy because he did it to himself. Rodri's the person that all the fans should be angry at. He has cost them these 2 games by getting himself sent off. But everyone's trying to make it sound like I'm not saying you did, but people are trying to make it sound like an injury. And oh my God, they feel sorry for City. No, the man strangled someone.
No, I don't think anyone. No, I don't think anyone feels sorry for us. I think it's just a reasonable thing to say that. Yeah, obviously not having Kevin De Bruyne and not having Rodri.
Exactly, that was my point.
Is a legit reason. Like, no one's taking it away from you, bro. Like, you still won the game. It's just obviously it's just a reasonable thing to say that we are going to be massively weaker without Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri. And
no, I agree. It's just I remember being told that I was unreasonable for saying that Saliba's injury last year was a key factor in us not winning the league. That was unreasonable. It was we're bottlers. We bottled it.
Because I think that is probably true though, because you were 2-0 up against West Ham and you didn't win the game, and then you went 3-1 down to a team that got relegated.
Yeah, we conceded lots of goals without one of the best centre backs in the league replaced by Rob.
Against West Ham and Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
So you take one centre back out your team, and then you concede 3 goals against relegated Southampton, and you're 2-0 up against West Ham.
Yeah, or you take Rodri out of your team and you lose to Newcastle with fucking Paul Dummett in the team, Wolves and Arsenal that don't have their 2 best wingers.
That's a different situation. This is a game where you were 2-0 up. Of course it is, yeah, because we played a completely different team against. Go and have a look at our starting 11 against Newcastle. The fact is, you was 2-0 up against West Ham last year, and then you conceded 3 goals against Southampton. The team got relegated. That's nothing to do with Saliba. That's mentality. And Jesus has come out and admitted this in interviews. Didn't have the mentality for it.
Yeah, Saliba came out and said if he'd been in the team, we'd probably have won the league. So
good mentality. That's a W mentality. You want more of that in your team. You probably win stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention, just on the old Kovacic red card, I remember last season, Emerson Royale made a very similar challenge on Martinelli, and the same referee at the same stadium sent Emerson Royale off. And I find it interesting that then the same referee at the Emirates, again, with a similar challenge, 2 weeks after he was working for Man City's owner and Man City's chairman, made the decision not to send him off. I just think that's quite an interesting one.
You're saying 116 charges? Is that what you're saying?
You know,
it's legal and above board.
About that. I was actually sent a tweet about that.
Michael Oliver was also working on our game, by the way. I'm just want to preface that he was.
However, just to be honest, there is a correction made to that tweet. He was reffing 2 weeks ago in Emirates in Abu Dhabi, yes, but there is a correction on that tweet that is sent out that the league has nothing to do with the owners of Manchester City. Has nothing.
The paranoia is mad that runs through this country at all the clubs. The paranoia is unreal.
I mean, the league does have a lot to do. The state basically run the league, and Sheikh Mansour is the vice president of the state.
So, you suggested that Michael Oliver's taking little side brown envelopes and not.
No, complete opposite. I'm suggesting that he was formally employed 2 weeks ago in a league that is effectively funded by the owners of Man City.
So what you're saying, what it sounds like you're saying there is Michael Oliver now is not giving decisions to teams that could now benefit Manchester City because he's being paid.
I'm saying potentially in a 50-50 scenario, if he's got a 50-50 decision to make, and one of the decisions involves people that are employing him and paying him money, that he might have a financial incentive to make that decision one way or the other.
So LB, so you're looking at it. I think you're looking at it from your point of view. If you're playing Liverpool tomorrow, and there is a referee that just ref 2 weeks ago by the owners, like a league that is created by the owners of Liverpool, he's getting paid. How would you feel if he makes a decision against your club? Doesn't it look paranoid,
man? I take the L. You know what I mean? It's football. Mistakes happen. Well, what about the VAR guy then? So the VAR guy, what was it? Was he in the UAE as well? I don't know.
See, you're going into the small details. I'm just telling you.
But it's just I'm asking a genuine question. The guy who's on the question, Mo.
You don't think the situation looks fishy? You don't think the situation looks fishy?
Mo, answer the question. The VAR guy yesterday, was he in the UAE 2 weeks ago?
But
no, he made a mistake.
Hold on. They say Howard Webb.
That's what I'm asking. Was he in the UAE?
Howard Webb. So the whole point is Howard Webb was employed by Abu Dhabi. Okay, but just to be honest, I was sent a correction. I was on the show and I said that Someone sent me that tweet because I said that because I heard it on a podcast on The Guardian. And then someone sent me and said, the correction, it's added context to the image of Michael Oliver referenced 2 weeks ago that Man City is part owned by Abu Dhabi, but that ADUG group has no connection to the Asian Football Confederation. So that has nothing to do with it. But it looks fishy. That's the point. That's the whole point. We're not saying it's corrupt. We're not saying it's corrupt. There is no evidence here, LB. There's no evidence.
It's just there's a conflict of interest. There's a conflict of interest, plain and simply. If you can't see that, then fine. You can bury your head in the sand. I just
don't believe that referees would start giving decisions because of what you're saying. I don't think in the moment when he looked at Kovacic, he thought, "Oh, I'm not going to give a red card here because me boss in wherever might not like it, and that benefits Manchester." I don't think people think like that. So,
if you had a 50-50 decision, one of which would piss off your employer that pays you money, and the other decision wouldn't do that, you have no reason to pick either way, you wouldn't go with the one. Why would you do the one that's going to piss off your employer and potentially lose?
I think the question I'd have though is was Michael Oliver chosen by the UAE League, or did they go to the PGMOL and go, can we have a referee? And then they gave them Michael Oliver. Or was he like specifically?
I don't think they go to the PGMOL.
I believe he was chosen because he's regarded as one of the top, which I actually think he is one of the top referees in the league.
I don't get how they can sit there, a league like that where they've got the money to buy refs and go, we were an English ref, they're the best. They're the best in class.
But this is the problem with the refs, VAR, PG, and all those mugs. It's because of how bad they are. These conversations will happen. And again, I said it last week. We have to start getting transparency. We have to start hearing live what is being said between VAR. You don't need all the shouting voices because the commentary on Sky Sports only hear the VAR person. You can make it calmer. It does, again, rugby's a mad one. And I watch a lot of rugby, and there are still decisions that happen with their VAR that I disagree with. I'm like, no, and the crowd make a noise. But because everybody, the crowd, everybody at home, the players, because everybody can hear what's going on, there is still an acceptance. Plus, over there, if you mouth off, your team gets properly punished. Like you lose yards or give away penalties. They can get rid of backchat to referees in a week. Imagine every time you backchat to a ref, you can see the penalty. That would stop it straight away. But at the end of the day, it's the lack of transparency, and it makes people. We all do this as human beings. When there's no transparency, we all get the tinfoil hats out. We see it all the time. And you've got to spend an hour on social media and you see bare tinfoil hats everywhere when there's a lack of transparency and/or understanding. I want to do some of these super chats here. Man City is not owned by the UAE. What's your point?
Well, it's owned by the vice president of the UAE.
Can we just correct that, guys? The whole country is kind of like their kingdom, right? It's Emirates. They are small states. Each one is owned, but this all goes to the same family. Like it's just families. This is just people just don't understand that. Yes, it's the cousin, but all goes to the same pool. It's just like Saudi Arabia. Everything is owned by the royal family. It's not like England. So
yeah. It's
even England is a kingdom. Like it's not a democratic country.
It's very different. It's very different. Listen to Hassam speak about it. Somebody who is born and bred in the Middle East. I've heard people try and argue with him when he's explaining how things work in that part of the world. And I'm sitting there like, bruv, like, why are you arguing with someone who literally is from there that understands it? It's crazy. This is a weird one. Saka makes Arsenal worse. Martinelli proved that.
Yes. Just say yes.
Sure.
Oh yeah, because Jesus was faultless. Yes, Jesus was brilliant down that right hand side. He was so good that Josko Gvardiol looked like a fantastic attacking left back.
No, but this is like an agenda. Like, come on, just if Saka was there yesterday, they would have been better. Like, clearly, Eddie Nketiah should not have been on that pitch. Imagine if Saka's there with Jesus with that energy. Come on, just this is.
I think I don't know if it makes him worse, but I think there's an argument to say that some people might rate Martinelli over Saka. As an opposition fan, I'm more scared of Martinelli than Saka.
I think that's
all right, LB. Actually, that's all right because he scores more goals. Yeah, which is fine.
I don't
even think it's goals with Martinelli. No. I think it's just the way he plays. The way he plays is more threatening. It's like with the Man City, the Centurions. I always thought that Raheem Sterling was arguably the better player out of him and Sane, but Sane terrified me. I hated playing Leroy Sane. If you want to do it with our lots, Salah and Mane. Salah's the better footballer than Mane. But I could ask most of you, and you'd probably say Mane scared you more because of the more direct style. I think Martinelli is a tougher, or a not tougher, but a scarier player to defend against because he's so good at what he does.
I hear you on that. He's back again here, IFL, who says Arsenal beating City is deflated with Tottenham being undefeated on top and not being able to beat Spurs at home. Liverpool on the rise. Were you deflated yesterday beating City because you didn't beat Tottenham, Rory?
Yeah, massively deflated. I went home disappointed. I saw the table. The fact that if we'd beaten City by 2 or more goals, we'd have gone top, but we didn't. So now we're only tied with them. So it's a shambles, really.
LJ here says Igal wasn't as bad as Hamza yet. I mean, Hamza was hilarious yesterday. I have to say, Hamza was absolutely tip top on the reaction show. He made me die. This is he literally in one sentence says, "I'm so proud of how we performed today. The team did me proud," and then went, "But I'm so disappointed with how we performed." It was so great. Remember Rory, Emery's first season at Arsenal, 22-match unbeaten run. Deluded Arsenal fans said, "We're back. Don't jump the gun too early."
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing like this. This has been coming for the last 18 months that we've been like this. And B, this is it's like the person that said about Patrick that Spurs are only just better than they were this time last season under Conte. It's like you've got to put the football that you're watching alongside the results that you're getting. Like Emery's style was not sustainable at Arsenal, which was proved in the end. So.
Yeah. No, well said. You got to watch it. Watch football with your eyes as well. Stats are great, but watch the games. Dissect how things are broken down. Watch how players perform. Watch what the manager does, how he reacts, who he brings on at certain times of the game. There's so much more to football than just looking at stats and looking at, come on, man. Come on.
I totally agree. Tony Bloom here says Arsenal deserved the win. Second half, they were more purposeful in possession. Great tactical game, but Arteta edged it with his structure. OOP, what does that mean?
Out of possession.
Out of possession. There we go. Great. And subs. He also says that's the highest quality game you'll see all season.
Oh, come on, get out of here.
I wouldn't say that.
Quality game.
It's like in UFC where you have a fight and you think it's going to be really good because it's two real top fighters, and then in the end they kind of just jab each other for the full 5 rounds, and you're like, it was really technical because they respected each other so much, but it's just not. It's not the best game.
Yesterday was like a football, not a football purist game. It depends on what you view as football purism. It was like watching 2 great 90s Italian teams play yesterday. That's what it felt like to me, where the defending was just top class. And look, you wouldn't want that every week, but I kind of like one of them every now and then. But yeah, this here says it's only us and United that received double standards in the media. We're called lucky after beating City, over celebrating. Spurs howled in the title race. It took us until game week 25 to get any respect last season. There is some truth in that. Arsenal get called off for celebrating. Spurs players after beating Liverpool, their players the players had their kids on the pitch and no one said anything. But
sorry, Terry, there isn't any truth in that. No Spurs fans are saying that Spurs won a title race, so that's one thing. And I don't see anyone calling Arsenal lucky yesterday. They got the win. It is what it is, but I don't know.
Lewis called us lucky.
Lewis, I think that's what Lewis saying.
The goal was a deflected goal. I don't think anything is wrong with saying they got lucky. Yes, create
your
your own luck at times. You have to create your own luck at times. Did they deserve to get lucky? I would say yes, because they took more shots than City did. But we can still say it was a little bit lucky. It's a deflected goal. It was right in front of us for all to see.
AMT here says this Man City fan, that's Lewis, just so you know, AMT says not bitter, but he sounds the total opposite. Stop lying is what he says here.
I don't know, man. I just say GG's to Arsenal and that. Genuinely, obviously I'm gutted. I don't want to lose the game, especially not in the 84th minute to a deflected shot. I'm not going to be coming on else buzzing, but GG's Rory said it's been coming. Last year. They were very good last year. The year before that, we scored a last-minute winner. It's no shock. It was always going to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. Rory, it was deflected and no Rodri or KDB, is what he said there.
Factual.
Yesterday, Daps was rattled. Hamza had excuses. Rodri FC deserved to lose. Poor losers lack class. Stay salty, Lewis. Big up Rory for talking sense, is what D says
Go
here.
on, D.
I think, Lewis, they wanted you to come out with an Arsenal flag and just wait for them.
Sorry, man. North London forever. What the hell, man?
Gunners kept Haaland at 0% chance of scoring. And City had 4 total shots, but Chelsea are going to create chances and get something, is what Garrett says. It's a fair point. It's a Yumo, I think. It's a shot at Yumo. He's going to shot at you.
We'll see how it is. You know what? Like I thought that the game, Pep Guardiola got it wrong yesterday. So,
yeah, I hear that. I'm sick of our fans saying it would have been a different game if we'd have had Rodri. We are known for our depth. Arsenal weren't at full strength either, is what Jake says.
Rory just said that.
Paul says, evening panel, RIP to my Spurs mate Dylan, amazing bloke, bought a Spurs tie and pin badge to wear at his funeral this Saturday for respect. I thought you were going to say you were going to wear it at the Emirates. I was going to say, please don't fucking do that, Gunnar Paul, because they won't ask questions. That's RIP to your friend Dylan, my old mate. Thank you. Haaland should never win the Ballon d'Or. Having a tree trunk that can stick out his foot and score a goal will take football backwards.
This guy's
been players like him for 160 years. It's not going to happen. Lewis, I know you've got to shoot, mate. I know you've got another thing to jump onto, bro. We're going to go for the rest of these super chats. So you okay to stay or do you need to shoot?
I got a few more minutes, bro.
Okay, man, no worries. Gunners really grew into the game when the 3-man sub rule was made. 3 subs were made. Goal was coming, in my opinion. Just a matter of where with enough time left to score it or not. This was by far Teta's best performance, in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Rory? His best performance as manager so far?
Yeah, mainly because in those high-pressure moments, I think occasionally he's not made the right calls before. And I think he's maybe tried to do too much against City in the past, whereas yesterday I thought he did get it bang on.
That makes sense. Tony says, historically, refs in all sports are corrupt. This is true. There's a great show on Netflix. I swear it's called Cheats or something like this. It's all about like sporting events where people got cheated. Some of it is wild, like figure skating and mad stuff. But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's very good. Panel, Rice and Party or Bissouma and Sarr?
Rice and Party.
We're not entertaining that, are we?
Patrick.
I mean, it's a $10 donation, man. Come on, give the guy an answer to it. I say Rice and Party, bro. I say Rice and Party.
I say Rice and Party. Rice and Party for me.
I've not even seen Rice and Party together. That's all I'm going to say. So conversation. We've not even seen them together. That's what all Arsenal fans tell me. So let's see them together first before we have that conversation.
Well, they've played together twice so far this season, both times against City and both times we've won. So decent record.
Well, Bissouma and Sarr top of the table.
Actually, let me ask you a question, Patrick. Right now, Patty, if you were offered a swap deal, you could have Party and Rice or keep Bissouma and Sarr, what would you do?
I'm keeping my guys because Rice is never fit. Sorry, Party is never fit.
And Bissouma's the better player between all 4 mentioned. I'll say it for you, don't worry.
There you go.
Party's never fit, but Bissouma might miss like 6 games this year.
I'm not even joking. I swear I'm not even joking. Bissouma's better than all 4.
And by the end
I'll have Bissouma second. Bissouma can sit second, but for me, he's not better than Rice.
Nowhere near better than Rice.
Definitely
He is better than Rice. He's definitely better.
100% better than Declan Rice at the moment.
Exactly. Come on.
Bissouma, oh my God. Have you been watching the Premier League?
Yeah, I thought
Bissouma's been good.
Phenomenal.
He's been great. Bissouma has been amazing.
Bissouma's been excellent. Come on. Yes, he had a bonus.
Not saying he hasn't. Not saying he hasn't. But I think Declan Rice has a player.
What?
Yo, man. No. Come on, man. Let's not do that, bro. Rice, he can't be serious. Like, Bissouma's good, yeah? He's a great player for you, but like, out of the cold, you're taking Bissouma over Rice.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Taking him any day of the week.
100%. Are you guys serious? You guys at the moment, because you saw Declan Rice played like this for 8 games, and yesterday he had to bring another 6 to control the tempo of the game next to Declan Rice, who's tackling, was good and everything, over Bissouma, who every game at Spurs is the go-to guy.
We've seen him do it for years at West Ham.
Okay, so you can't limit this to 6 games.
No, we haven't. Rory,
we have.
That's a false premise. They play defensive football. He defends more than when he attacks. Yeah. He doesn't play progressive football at West Ham. That's a false.
So Man City and Arsenal were both willing to put £100 million on the table for a guy that's never proven that he's worth that or close to that.
What is that? I don't get what your question here. What does that has to do with what the fact that you said that he's done it at West Ham is not a fact because West Ham don't play progressive football.
He won a European trophy with West Ham.
Yeah, but is he better than Bissouma? Forget all of that. Is he better than Bissouma?
He won a European trophy where he got dominated in the final.
Oh my God, this is not. This is getting into a discussion. Guys, at West Ham, they don't hold the ball. He's not a progressive team. So the way Arsenal, Manchester City, and Spurs this year play has nothing to do with what he did at West Ham. All about the potential, the way he plays. They saw that he might be able to do that. He can do that, the scouting. Did he do it? No, he didn't. He did it only for these 8 games. Bissouma did it for Brighton. Bissouma now, at the moment, he's leading that Spurs team.
Bissouma was awful last season. Declan Rice has never looked as bad as Bissouma was last season.
He was atrocious. You're telling me that Declan Rice is the leader of this Arsenal midfield?
Yes.
The leader.
Yes.
So why didn't he play 6 yesterday and play somebody else? Why Jorginho yesterday was the one dictating the speed of the play, dictating where the ball is going to go yesterday? He had double the touches of Declan Rice. Declan Rice, some interceptions and tackles and everything. That would never happen with Bissouma on the team. Bissouma is the one who's handling the ball.
Declan Rice done that. Declan Rice done that because Declan Rice can do that. Declan Rice can do both. Arteta's not going to say, okay, Declan, you be the dictator of the tempo. I want Jorginho to be my box-to-box. Jorginho can't do box, let alone box-to-box. Who else are you going to play? El Neni.
Yeah. And also,
Fabio Vieira. I don't know who else they have.
So Declan Rice, out of his best position, you're saying he's best in a 6, out of his best position against the best team in the world, put in a man-of-the-match performance, but Yves Bissouma. He's better.
So you think that Declan Rice was yesterday man of the match? Listen, you guys think that Declan Rice yesterday was man of the match?
One second. Bissouma surpasses Rice in all the metrics that you want to use to judge a midfielder. So if you want to talk about his ground duels and all that stuff, because I've done this argument 2 weeks ago on Assumption, I think Mo, you were there and you issued that question. He has double the ground duels won this season. And when it comes to the passing and controlling the game, he has the better passing percentage. And people say, well, it could be side passes, by the way, which is something that Rice dominates. He has the best passing percentage between the two in the opposition's half. So it means that he makes a lot of more forward passes than Rice. So if you want to use these 3 metrics that I think they're very reasonable to judge a number 6, which is defending and passing forward, he excels in all 3 of them. He surpasses Rice in all 3 of them. And I have the eye test to tell me that.
Better dribbler, better ball carrier. He's got more tackles, more interceptions. I don't understand. Come on.
And by the way, before anyone accuses me of doing, because
I thought Bissouma after 8 games is in the discussion with the best defensive midfielder in the league.
I'm not going to sit there and say, so because Yves Bissouma has been better for 6 games this season, arguably, that undoes everything.
Are we just ignoring what he used to do when he was at Brighton, guys? Because I feel like we're looking at last season, but we forget how good he was with Brighton. I wanted him last season when Spurs signed him, and we went and signed Casemiro instead, and I was upset over it. So a year later, I'm repeating the same thing because I have seen him be a better footballer for about 3 years yet. Yeah, we can talk about last year being shit, but they were playing horrible football under Conte anyways. They weren't playing progressive football. But now that he's playing progressive football, he's
in the Premier League. If you look talking metrics in the Premier League this year, both played 8 games. Both played identical minutes, actually. Declan Rice has more goals. Chances created, identical. Passing accuracy, Declan Rice, 92% versus 91%. For me, that's a tie. Like that 1% is so marginal. Long pass accuracy, Declan Rice 70%, Bissouma 62%. Aerial duel success, Bissouma 50%, Declan Rice 34%. So I think that's a significant win. Ground duel success, 61%, Bissouma 60%. Rice, I'm going to say that like the other one is 1%. So I'm going to say it's a tie. Clearances, 0.4 for Rice. 1.4 for Rice, 1.8 for Bissouma. I think that's very close. Interceptions identical, blocks identical. So in terms of the metrics, there is nothing really to separate these two at this moment in time this season. Again, metric-wise, I think on the eye, I think Bissouma passed the eye test more than Declan Rice, the way he moves. But with Declan Rice, the reason I would pick him over Bissouma, it's not even about a tactical thing. Leadership ability, I'd go with Rice. That's who I'd go with. But let me just state this. I think Bissouma's amazing, and I'm gutted that one thing I would say, value for money, he'll probably be worth more. That would be better because he costs £25 million, which is crazy. There we go. I wanted some more of these super chats. If there's a great super chat, we started another debate, which we didn't. This says apply common sense, Staffy. Why don't you compare Bissouma's stats to Rodri's and then tell me he's better than Rodri?
Does he want me to say that Bissouma's better or Rodri? He's not. Why would I say that? You want me to lie? The only reason I use stats for that one is because we're doing a direct comparison, but I'm not going to compare Bissouma to Rodri because my eyes can already tell me without the stats that he's a much better DM than him. I think he's the second best DM in the league. That's my opinion.
Well.
There we go. Staffy says Bissouma is World Cup, shows the bar is world class, shows the bar is low.
All right. When the season ends, we'll revisit that because every genius looked like an idiot at first until he was proven right. So if he has a world class season, whoever sent that super chat, I bet you better come back with an apology.
Did you just call yourself a genius on the show?
I will be proven a genius, yeah. I will be proven a genius.
I like it. This here, Rice over Bissouma because he cooks in both pragmatic and progressive systems. Rice passes the Conte test. Teta and Pep would love him. Can adopt to any system. It's a fair point. I'm losing brain cells. Could Bissouma carry West Ham?
No.
Yeah, why not? Why couldn't he?
He's not that guy.
Was Rice carrying West Ham now?
Yeah, what is carrying? Can we talk about carrying? What was he carrying?
Carrying
Why is Rory saying Bissouma's not that guy when you can clearly see in every game he's played he's been excellent? So how is he not that guy? Like, I don't really understand.
So go on.
There was the argument was made that the reason Bissouma looked bad last season was because he was playing in a team that was playing badly. Declan Rice was playing in a team that was playing badly last season, like relegation level badly, and he still looked excellent. That's the difference.
Conte didn't favour Bissouma. Bissouma was injured. He hardly played. So it's not just about Conte. So it's a lot more things than that. So this whole thing of Declan Rice in a Conte system, Bissouma hardly played last year and he was injured. So let's cut that crap straight away.
I'm just going to let you know as well, though. I've just run Amrabat's numbers. He beats, barring ground rules, he beats them all in everything in his first 2 Premier League games. So I'm just putting that out there, Staffy.
But that's 2 games. That's why I didn't bring
you now, Staffy. I'm backing you. I'm going with Bissouma because it means, based on your logic, that Amrabat's better. Come on.
No, but I use the same amount of games to compare. I can't use Amrabat.
No, I know. I'm being facetious. Partey controlled the game better than all of them, is what Enigma says. Staffy thinks Luke Shaw is world class. Take it with a pinch of salt, people.
If Prince can find me a clip of me calling Luke Shaw world class, I'll give him all the money. No, because I know what he's talking about. We had that debate on Saeed's channel before. I didn't say he's world class, but I rated him more than Saeed did. But then the show turned into he's world class enough. I never said the exact words.
But Bissouma is nowhere near Rice's level. Sorry, lol. 8 games, and this is how people are talking. I think it's more than the 8 games, though. It's what he was doing at Brighton as well, to be fair. Who gives a shit how Arsenal won? They won a goal. It's 3 points, end of. I agree with you. Already done this one here. Thank you very much. Oh, man, that Sal here says, this is why Pogba said Man United fans don't know ball with talent ID like Staffy. United will go nowhere, Terry. Please score your fellow United
AVI fan. Like that, trying to say that I don't know what I'm talking about. First of all, go change that picture because you look like an idiot. Secondly, I rated Pogba. When Pogba said that, it was because people were going against him. So if I told Pogba, hey, I rate you, he's going to be like, yeah, you're one of the stupid United fans that I don't rate. Bro, go change your AVI, bro.
Oh, my God.
Jeez. So much chest for bought trophies and rigged refs. Every time we play you, you get all the decisions. Last year, Odegaard's penalty, Xhaka red, brutal cheats is what Gunnar Sol has got to say.
Last year? When was the Odegaard penalty last year?
I don't remember it.
No, he's thinking the season before.
Oh, was he thinking the year before?
A penalty and Odegaard got fouled by Maddison and nothing was given. Yeah.
It's Eddie Nketiah can't wear the 14 and do that. It's true. He shouldn't be in that shirt. That's one that he should not be in.
Shouldn't be on the club, bro. Like Eddie Nketiah.
Prince here says, you called him the best left back in the world. Am I lying?
No, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. Go find that clip. I said
Go find a clip, bro.
I rate him higher more than United fans.
I'll get AI to voice over Staffy. I ain't joking. I wouldn't do that.
I might have called him the best left back in the league. Maybe that's what I said.
Ooh. Best league in the world, though. Therefore, no, I'm joking. Ability is also a big asset. Rice is actually underrated when you add leadership and strong mentality to that. Yeah, I agree. Bissouma has 3 years on Rice. Rice will improve. How old is Bissouma?
27.
Oh, is he? I thought do you know why? I thought he was like 21, 22. I don't know why I didn't realize he was proper grown.
Yes.
This here says there's bad decisions in many games, but hey, because City are owned by Arabs, it's probably to do with corruption. City have the smartest people running it. They are not dumb enough to pay refs.
Latifa, it's true, but
150
again,
charges, a counterweights City have the smartest, so they wouldn't cheat.
Yeah, and Rory didn't say they paid the ref to cheat. That's not what he said. It's just
a conflict of interest. It's perfectly legal and above board. It's just an issue.
I just think they're idiots for even wanting an English ref. I don't want English refs.
Guys, let's just establish the facts so people don't call us like we're just gaslighting. The people that run that league, the AFC, they are run from Emirates, but they have nothing to do with the Abu Dhabi. Okay, let's establish the fact. This is a completely different entity, and not even to the following the government of that's the reality. They're not following the governance of Emirates. So
it's sponsored. It's paid for by Adnan.
Arsenal are sponsored by Emirates as well. So it's like, come on, Rory. Sponsored is something else than being employed by them.
Oh, well, it's all just a bit.
Ahmed here says Rice 0 yellow cards and Rez Bissouma 5 yellow cards, 1 red. Rice equals clutch goal winner against United. Let Bissouma put his medals on the table. Man's walking around like Graham Souness.
Yeah, Bissouma does need to work on his discipline and silly yellow cards, but if you're looking at the play and the talent, I think it's it's there for everyone to see.
Partey clear of them both. Pretty obvious. No.
Again, I never like the argument of this injury prone player is better than him. I don't care. I'd sooner have the worst player for 35 games than the better one for 10. Thiago for us. People try and put Thiago in combined 11s. I can't do it because he's never fit for them. I don't want to see Thiago on.
This here says, where was the sympathy when Saliba got injured? They gaslighted us and said we were scapegoating, holding, criticizing stinks massive. The hypocrisy stinks massively. That is true. I have to call that out. Staffy, I'd take my face over yours every day. Virgin contest, my opinions, not my looks. You Theodore. I don't know what Theodore means. The Simon, Alvin, Theodore. That one. Doop, doop.
Thank you for the super chat, Sua. I got you rattled, then that made my day. You have a good time.
I haven't seen the chipmunks in years. They're little jumpers, isn't it? Does it red?
You still look like a dweeb, by the way. If you don't know what a dweeb is, I would go look it up. You look like an absolute dweeb.
I know a dweeb is. Listen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. An amazing show. We'll be back tomorrow. Me and Lee Gunner in the afternoon. I'm very much looking forward to that one. And I did share the video today of him celebrating because he got very salty last week when I showed a video of him being grumpy after winning. So I did share him celebrating. So we're back tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 as usual. I want to thank Rory. I want to thank Mo, Patty, Little Tom, Staffy, and of course, Lewis had to leave. My super chatters, everyone who's liked the show, you are the stars as always. Thank you so much for what you do for us. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.